We're waiting for the players to come out on the tunnel as the Leeds fans sing their traditional anthem, getting behind their team. Here we go with Leeds United, marching on together. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. The scarves are held above their heads, and they've turned out in force, despite the fact they keep conceding goals and getting battered at home and being beaten away. They're still getting behind their team. As the players enter the arena, Leeds taking on Leicester. We've talked about the deficiencies in the Leeds defence. Can Maddison and co take advantage? More goals going in, by the way, in what a game it is at Rodney Parade, the ground they call Dave Parade. Newport 1, Harrogate 2. They've turned it around. 2 goals in 4 minutes. 2 teams are on the pitch. Crowd in fine voice. Can Leicester keep this crowd quiet? This time tomorrow night, I'll be with you all at the Etihad for live exclusive commentary on Talksport and nowhere else of Man City against Arsenal. The title decider maybe, but we'll give you our predictions for that game at half-time tonight on Talksport. So let's focus on tonight's action. Premier League on the Talksport app, it's Wolves 1, Palace 0. On Talksport 2, it's Villa 0, Fulham 0. Here at Ellen Road, are Leeds marching on together back to the Championship. It's a tester against Leicester, and it's live on Talksport with former England defender Danny Mills, alongside Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matface.
Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, the last time that Leeds beat Leicester in the Premier League at Ellen Road, it was April, the sun was shining. These two played out a terrific 5-goal thriller. Leeds nicked a winner in the 86th minute, and both were relegated. It's a shared history that could very well repeat itself tonight. Leeds and Leicester leak like a government department, lose as often as Nottingham Forest, and are as liable to throw away a lead as Arsenal. And at the start of this pivotal week of Premier League football, they were 16th and 17th. By Thursday, they could both be in the bottom 3. Or maybe, just maybe, one of them can take the situation by the scruff of the neck, thrive and survive. But that would take a victory for someone, and between them, Leeds and Leicester have posted just 4 wins in 25 matches. So don't hold your breath. But we'll probably get goals, especially with Leeds. They've conceded 11 in the last 2 home games here, and Leicester aren't much better defensively either. Leeds, all in white, have recalled Patrick Bamford to their starting lineup. Luke Ayling is coming as well as Junior Firpo. There's no Max Verber, their best defender, in the squad. Meslier has come under huge scrutiny, but he remains in goal. Ayling, Koch, Cooper and Firpo make up the back 4. McKennie and Rocker, the 2 holders in midfield. They really miss Tyler Adams. Harrison, Rodrigo and Sinisterra play behind Patrick Bamford in attack. For Leicester City, well, a couple of changes for Dean Smith as well, and their welcome returns. The return of Maddison and Barnes, 2 players that have injected goals into this team through the course of the season. Keeping them out now is Daniel Everson in goal, who replaced Danny Ward a few weeks ago. Castagna, Fass, Soyuncu and Christensen make up the back 4. Tielemans and Sumare are the 2 holders in midfield, with Tete, Maddison and Barnes behind Iheanacho in attack. Our referee tonight is Paul Tierney, who is assisted by Neil Davis, Scott Ledger. The VAR is Stuart Atwell. Our 4th official, Michael Salisbury. And his assistant tonight is Konstantin Hatzidakis. He's back working again. We've got live football on the Talksport app. Wolves against Crystal Palace. That's happening right now. Just download our app. You can listen to it for free. On Talksport 2, it's Aston Villa against Fulham. And we are underway at Ellen Road with Leeds United attacking the goal away to our right-hand side in this first half. And Leicester City shooting from right to left. And that Ilian Meslier goal in front of the Don Revie stand. Danny Mills watched on in horror as he sat with his League Cup winner's medal around his neck. Gained on loan at Middlesbrough the last time Leeds were relegated 19 years ago. Now he's watching on with a London Marathon medal around his neck. How do Leeds United avoid the same fate?
I think it's very, very difficult. Tonight is a massive game. They cannot lose this evening. Talked about it earlier on. If they lose here this evening, you look at their run-in and you think well, where's 2 wins going to come from? Leicester obviously then play Everton on Monday, so one of them has to pick up points yet again. Would probably put Leeds further into it. It's a real big problem. I think they've got to change their mentality. We've seen them before, they're a little bit gung-ho, they're all over the place at times. This is a night for solid, boring, clean sheet, kick it in the crowd if you have to. It does not matter. Do not lose to this Leicester team.
Well, Leeds United come into the game on the back of 3 chastening, demoralising defeats. The 2 home spankings have sowed the seeds of serious discontent. Go behind tonight or fail to perform, and we will know all about it. Tielemans taking time over a free kick on halfway. He clips the ball down into the left channel looking for Barnes. It's headed away by Ayling, and then Christensen manages to dab it infield to Samare, then combines with Barnes, tries to go down the left. Rodrigo is there to tidy up for Leeds United, and they look to play their way out of trouble. They get it wide and out to Jack Harrison, who sprints up to halfway. Bamford gets away from Tielemans, turns back infield, holds onto it really well, twirls away from Soyuncu, who dives in, wins the ball back, and that's good defending by the Turkish international. Clipped down the touchline by Christensen. It's out of play on this near side, and Leeds United have a throw, and that got the Leeds fans up on their feet.
Which is brilliant. This crowd will get behind you. You work hard, you put the effort in, they will back you to the hilt. What they mustn't do is get wrapped up in the emotion. There's a very fine line between passion and emotion. Passion is brilliant in football. Emotion in elite sport is not so good. That's when you lose your head, and that's when you start to make mistakes.
Junior Firpo clears after Mount Fast nudges the ball forward. It's not a great back pass down the right side, and then Liam Cooper gets tangled with Iheanacho. Paul Tierney gives the free kick his way rather than the Nigerians, and it's a free kick 10 yards outside the box away to our left-hand side. So 0-0 here. We played just 2 minutes and 40 seconds on Talksport. The first of 10 live games across the network underway on the Talksport app at 7:30 tonight. Wolverhampton Wanderers leading Crystal Palace by 1-0. Aston Villa 0. Fulham 0 is available on Talksport 2. This is 0-0. In the Championship, it's Blackburn 0, Burnley 0. A Burnley win tonight seals them the title. Ball hammered forward towards the right-hand side. Harrison might be in here, but it's just gone past Christensen rather easily. Everson was well placed to pick it up on the perimeter of his penalty area and picks it up in front of Jack Harrison and stops him from going any further. But that was a little bit nervous from Victor Christensen.
Yeah, should have never really been in any trouble whatsoever. Just got his feet a little bit mixed up. Got his body turned the wrong way and almost sort of fell over himself. But it's really interesting. Look how high James Maddison is playing. He's playing as an out-and-out 10. It's pretty much 3 up front and Maddison just in behind, isn't it?
Well, Maddison can pick up lots of space and create from very little. He is a terrific footballer in terrific form over the course of this season. He's got the ball now on halfway. He's dispossessed by Rocker, who's turned it over straight into Bamford, and now it's picked up by Sinistera, who glances forward, looks up, gets dispossessed by Tielemans, and there's space left by Firpo over on the far side, which is now being exploited. It's picked up, and racing clear is Tete, trying to get into an advanced position. He seemed to lose his coordinates, didn't know where he was going, ran into a blind alley, lost the ball, and now Leeds United bring it away. End-to-end stuff in the early exchanges, and Ayling has escaped down the right side. He produced a cross into the area looking for Bamford. The ball in towards the near post wasn't perfect. Bamford went to try and attack it, but he was never going to get it, and Mountfast puts it out for a throw. Back out to Harrison, prodded out by Samare. It's out for another throw-in on this near side.
I've got a feeling it's going to be like this, pretty much end-to-end. Very, very open. First goal is going to be crucial. Whoever can get that first goal really does get a foothold in the game, makes it almost impossible for the opposition. If it goes to Leicester, this crowd will go very, very quiet very, very quickly.
Yeah, there's a jitteriness to Ellen Road tonight. The mood can turn at any moment. The ball is on the left-hand side with Sinistera, getting towards the byline, produces a cross. It's blocked and cleared away by Castagna, and then Tielemans gets it back and then fires it up to Castagna, who got the winner at the weekend. Infield it goes. Tete racing over halfway. Needs to know when to release the ball. He delayed and eventually got it out towards Barnes and drew Cooper out of position. Leeds getting men back towards their goals. Maddison is played down the left-hand side by Barnes. Maddison's got it again, twisting and turning past Cock. Plays it into the near post and Cooper stabs it away. It's out for the first corner of the game.
We talked about it earlier on. Where's the 2 holding midfield players for Leeds? It's so open. This reminds me when I used to come here in the Championship and there was a period where Calvin Phillips was out injured. and Leeds would break, and they'd be on the attack on the penalty area at one end, and then the opposition would pick the ball up, and there'd be no challenge, or no one would close the ball down until they got to the penalty area at the other. And that was very, very similar. There's this huge void in the middle of the park.
Sometimes matches between these two can resemble basketball games. That has happened before. One of the best matches I saw for a while was between these two. The ball's into the near post. Boutfass gets it back towards Tielemans, who cracks it in from the edge of the penalty area, 20 yards out. He spanked that in off the bottom of the bar and past a stranded Meslier. It's taken just over 6 minutes for Leicester to get in front. The first corner not dealt with. It came out to Tielemans right on the edge of the area, and Leicester City have smashed themselves in front, and they're the latest team to breach this leaky Leeds back line. It's Leeds 0, Leicester 1.
What a hit. Absolutely magnificent. Defending from the corner is absolutely woeful. It's really, really poor. They don't win the first ball, they don't win the second ball, and then there's no pressure on Tielemans. It's Barnes with a little flick. Iheanacho then reacts twice before any Leeds player. He toe pokes it back, but Tielemans, what a hit. That is postage stamp. Absolutely magnificent. There's a VAR check.
Well, they're checking for possible offside because there is quite a clutch of players in front of the goalkeeper here, so it may well be that Leeds get a reprieve. I think that's Sumare who's just played the ball. It's played against him. It deflected back into the penalty area, and it's coming back from an offside position before it was cracked in. So that may well be disallowed because
I think
he was
offside.
standing in an offside position. It bounced off his knee and then came back in, and it is going to be disallowed. Let off for Leeds United. Lucky Leeds.
Incredibly fortunate to get away with that, because they allowed Harvey Barnes. He back heels it in the box, and look at it, there's 5 defenders, no one attacks the ball. Gets very, very fortunate. Sumare's unlucky really, he's just stood in an offside position, nothing he can do. The hit is magnificent, but very, very interesting. James Maddison just said to all his teammates, you can see him waving around, it's okay, calm down, it's not a problem. Like we heard from Jason Bourne, our producer, I think they've come here with a degree of confidence.
Well, it's 0-0. Leicester having the ball in the net is a cracking hit. Goals like that really should never be allowed to be disallowed, should they?
It was unbelievable.
So beautiful.
Absolutely.
The way he cracked it.
I mean, postage stamp in off the underside of the bar. Absolutely magnificent strike, and a controlled strike as well.
Mansfield 1, Leyton Orient 0 is now Mansfield 1, Leyton Orient 1. Tyrone Mings has scored for Aston Villa. They lead by a goal to 0. Grimsby 1-0 up against Crewe Alexandra. Here it's 0-0. The ball is on halfway with Koch. He gets it under control, then sees it back into midfield and then onto Liam Cooper out to the far side. And Firpo manages to swing it upfield towards Bamford. Offside flag is up against Bamford for coming back from an offside position. Leeds have conceded 18 goals in their 5 April fixtures so far. The record for the most goals conceded in a calendar month is 20. Do you know who holds that?
Go on.
Leeds United 2.
Was I involved in that?
No. That was
under Bielsa, wasn't it?
It was last year, yeah, February 2022. Here is Soyuncu, back to Sumare. Sumare across to Boutfass, and then Soyuncu will have all the time in the world to pick his pass and send it forward for Barnes to chase down the left flank. It was a little bit hefty for him to get under control. It bounces off the turf and goes out by the corner flag, and it's away for a throw into Leeds United, who have had a bit of a let-off here.
They do look nervous, don't they? The way that they're playing, that their passing isn't particularly slick. 1 or 2 first touches bouncing around. So Leicester definitely look the more confident side.
Well, 2 players in the back 4 tonight are 2 players that have been, or 3 players in the back 4 have been members of staff that have been taken out by Javi Gracia because he was worried about their defending. Firpo, Cooper he's hardly played, and Luke Ayling, he took him out the other night after the game against Liverpool, for the game against Liverpool.
I think, you're looking at other options, what is available in there. You've got to go with players that are solid, players that you trust. You don't need anything fancy at this stage of the season.
Deep ball into the penalty area, aimed towards the edge of the 6-yard box, launched in by Castagna from the wide right position for Leicester City, plucked out of the sky by Meslier, and will be cleared away by Leeds United. Leicester know that one victory doesn't save a season, but Dean Smith knows that the games against teams around them, like Leeds United, are really important if they're going to survive this season. There was a lot of grit and graft against Wolves, things that had been lost under the previous regime. Dean Smith appointed as the Leicester manager until the end of the season on the 10th of April, and he has been here before. He has been appointed with the club in a relegation zone. With Norwich in 2021, he was in charge of the team from Carrow Road, and they ended up being relegated as Christensen plays the ball back to Everson.
To be fair to him,
dodgedly.
He was never getting out of that one.
No, the Norwich one he couldn't get out of, but he did take over Walsall when they were in the relegation zone, when they were in League One, and he helped them survive. Ball is down the right side, picked up by Tete for Leicester City, down towards the corner flag. He's got support from Maddison, who turns it back to the Brazilian. He tries to play it square, but it was a bit erratic. It went straight into the face of Rodrigo and runs through to Meslier away to our left-hand side. Anthony Evans has been sent off for Bristol Rovers in their game tonight, away at Plymouth, who are looking to try and get closer and closer to the promotion that they crave from League One back into the Championship. Still 0-0 in that game. Ball thrown down the right-hand side towards Bamford. It's picked up by Jack Harrison on halfway. Infield it goes. We played 12 minutes on Talksport. And Leeds United just trying to have a bit of possession, just trying to settle themselves into the game after a rather delicate start where they felt their goal had been breached once again, but luckily for them, VAR spotted an infringement, and that was deleted before they could watch Leicester celebrate too much.
Right, Sam, you watch an awful lot of football, as does Adrian. It's not difficult, is it? When you're down there for a reason. Play the percentages. Don't try and do anything fancy or anything clever. Play safe.
Samari switching the play from the middle of the Leeds half out towards the right. Picked up by Tete, whose cross is blocked by Firpo. Bounces on the edge of the area. Sinistera just hacks it into the air. It's chested down by Castagna. Tielemans can't get there. It's cleared away. But most of the football being played in the Leeds half in this first 13 minutes of the game. Maddison allowed too much time on the ball. There's a bit of frustration coming. He's played out to the near side. Harrison's pinched it. Now he's looking to try and run to halfway. He's done that, but he overran it. Given away by Tielemans, though. Ayling has switched it out towards the near side. Rodrigo on the attack for Leeds United. He comes down the right and moves to the edge of the penalty area. Cuts in, tries to get past Samara, who's brilliant at the weekend. Has started well here. He's intervened, nabbed the ball, and now it's with Leicester City midway inside their own half. 0-0.
I would say, watching the game so far, we're nearly 15 minutes in, Leicester have got a game plan. They've got a belief in what they're doing. As I said, they're playing percentages. They're keeping it simple. They're not overplaying out from the back. If they have to get the ball long and play it in behind, they're doing that. Tielemans is finding space. Maddison is finding space. Leicester at the moment, I would say, are well on top.
Talksport live at Ellen Road. There's been a goal in the game involving Swindon and Stevenage. Stevenage leading by a goal to nil. Jamie Reid with the strike. Stevenage have a game in hand and in third place. They're vying with Stockport County to get promoted to the third tier. They want to get automatic promotion this season. Stevenage 1-0 they lead away at Swindon Town. The ball is out of play on this near side. Ayling to take the throw in front of Dean Smith, who's standing in the technical area with his stadium jacket on and polished black shoes, watching as Leeds give the ball away back to Leicester, and Maddison's flicked it onto Iheanacho, who's turned it onto Barnes, who's in the area. His first time shot is blocked by Cooper. Brilliant defending by the Leeds captain, who got back and just put his body in the eye line of Barnes to stop him from being able to get a clean strike. But again, sloppiness from playing out of the back from Leeds United and inviting pressure when none was really necessary.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. You can't.
It's rocker, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't play that. It tries to almost thread the eye of the needle in the defensive half. That goes wrong. Then he goes in to make a challenge and gets absolutely nowhere near it. I mean, he was so far off it then. You can't. I said, you've got to just simplify your game. If you're not playing particularly well, just do the simple things.
Aston Villa going on good guns at the moment. Tyrone Mings has put them in front against Fulham. That's on Talksport 2 right now if you want to listen to that. Wolverhampton Wanderers lead Crystal Palace just coming up to half-time in that game. And here it's 0-0 between Leeds and Leicester City. All 10 games from the Premier League this week are live on Talksport. Ball worked out wide. It's collected by Harrison, who leaves Christensen on his backside and produced across left-footed in towards the far post. And Somerville, who's coming in, tries to get on the end of it. Sinistera coming in from the far side, tries to get on the end of it. And he just sort of twirled in the air and completely missed it. Maybe Bamford's movement just in front of him just got in his way, because as that cross came in, Bamford just a little bit over the top of his head. I don't know whether or not Sinistera was expecting that.
Yeah, keep your eye on the ball. Simple as that.
Here is Sinistera once again, who had a really good season last year when he was at Feyenoord. He got 23 goals and about 14 assists during that season in the Eredivisie. Over on the far side, the ball is with Iheanacho, looking for Maddison. Inside the area, stretching to try and poke it home. And he can't quite reach it as the ball goes in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. But I tell you what, they're getting closer and closer and closer to the opening goal here, Leicester City. Every time they come forward, they look like they can score.
I mean, Leeds seem determined to shoot themselves in the foot. I'm not sure what Liam Cooper is thinking. The ball comes back to him, sort of the left-back position, and he's trying to sweep a ball, a high, curly one out to this right-hand side or into the middle-ish of the pitch. Not really sure where it was going. Gives it away to Iheanacho, who's always going to do him for pace. Luckily for him, came back inside and was, well, it was almost inch perfect for Maddison, who missed the far post by, 6 inches.
Harrison onto Rodrigo, right side, chops it back to Ayling, whose cross is deep towards the far edge of the 6-yard box. It's gone behind and out for a goal kick. Wasn't the best of deliveries. It is Leeds 0, Leicester 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream all the Premier League action live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports. It's 18 plus, streamed via the internet, and terms apply. I mean, the opening 17 minutes has been a little chaotic at times, giving the ball away cheaply, Leeds United, but they have had a threat as well. Their delivery into the box just hasn't been as crisp and as clinical as you would desire.
I agree, but looking at the two teams at the moment, Leicester look like they've got a clear plan and know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Leeds are still in this, clearly it's still 0-0 at the moment.
But it's a bit off the cuff.
Well, I was going to say, it looks like it's going to be more by luck than judgment if they nick a goal.
Ball is loose in midfield. Bamford wins a foul after being challenged by Tielemans, and it's going to be a Leeds free kick just right of the centre circle. And Dean Smith has been able to keep Aston Villa up as well after the lockdown period. He came back after that period and turned them into a much more aggressive defensive unit. They stopped conceding goals and just about managed to survive that season too. So he's got a track record of tightening up a team, and that certainly has been Leicester's issue. They score enough goals, they just haven't been able to keep them out the back of the net. We'll go off to Molineux in just a second, but the free kick has been sent down the wide right for Leeds United. Ayling trying to play it infield. Barnes pokes it away. So let's go off to that game at Molineux and Talksport's Adam Bridge can bring us the details of half-time.
Yeah, it's Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0. Joachim Addison's own goal from Neves' corner after 3 minutes, still separating the sides. But Jose Sarr with a terrific save to deny Lokonga from close range is the only reason the score is still Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Did Leeds United 1, Leicester City 0. Ball played in from the throwing down the right-hand side, a swirling cross to the back post. Bamford went up to try and reach it, couldn't quite, and sneaking in round the back with Luis Sinistera to head the ball into the ground and beyond Deverson, and it's 1-0 to the home side, and Ellen Road erupts.
Huge relief from all the fans in this crowd, and that's what we're talking about, that little bit of luck that they needed. Jack Harrison picks the ball up, he drifts inside, and he just curls one towards the far post. Sinistera's round the back, clearly onside. Just a simple ball in. He drifts into that position. He almost heads it down too well. It bounces right into the ground, it bounces high. But fortunately for him, it's close enough that it bounces high up into the net. Good header at the back post.
Well, it's his 7th goal of the season. He was left on the bench at the weekend, but he scored against Liverpool and he scored here again tonight. And Leeds United are in front, but remember they were in front against Crystal Palace and it all collapsed around their ears. And they won't want to surrender this lead. All they've got to do now is try to hold on to it. Not something that they've done too often this season.
Did you just say that's his 7th of the season?
Yeah.
Well, that's why Nonto's not playing. Simply because he's only got 2. Adrian asked that question why. That probably sums it up. He's a better goal threat.
Well, he's certainly been a goal threat tonight. He scored for Leeds United. It's their first real shot on target. And they lead by 1-0 against the Leicester team that are also struggling against relegation. And that goal coming from a wide cross from Jack Harrison, who's actually been quite productive since Javi Grazia turned up. A few more assists and goals since the new manager, and now they're wiring into tackles over on the far side. Rodrigo down in the Leicester right fullback position manages to prod it out, and it's up for a throw in deep inside Leicester territory. Interesting though, and I suppose we'll monitor this over the course of the day. One of the things that Leicester have been accused of over the course of the season actually is being a little bit casual about being dragged into a relegation race, not thinking that they're necessarily in one. There's a famous tweet from James Maddison responding to a reporter who suggested the recipe for relegation was all there. He said it was nonsense. Now, you mentioned earlier in the first 10 minutes of the game, they look confident, they look vibrant, they look as if they fancy it tonight. They think they'll get a goal eventually. Sometimes you can be a little bit too casual, and they switched off when that cross came in. Yeah,
they did at the far post, but also I've heard so many Leeds fans this season, we're not going down, our squad is too good. That's irrelevant. Doesn't matter how good your squad is on paper, if you're not doing it on the pitch, then you've got a chance going down.
Well, there was a foul here, and Portini is going to give a free kick on this wide right hand side. The ball went down into the right wing position. Harrison tried to poke it back towards Ayling, and he was fouled by Samare, and it's going to be a free kick on this wide right position. Mark Rocker and Jack Harrison are coming over to have a look at it. The Norman Hunter stand has got thousands of Leeds fans on their feet, bellowing, marching on together as they prepare to welcome this ball into the box. Halfway through the first half, it's Leeds 1, Leicester City 0, live on Talksport. Crucial game at the bottom of the table. Could be absolutely massive for Leeds if they can get 3 points tonight. Could be huge for Leicester if they can come back and win. The ball is with Rocker on this near side then. He's going to try and float this into the penalty area, left-footed. It's right towards the penalty spot, and it's just a little bit too high and easily caught by Daniel Everson.
I think this game is just going to continue to be very, very open. What Leeds need to do now? So that's ridiculous.
That's Rodrigo chasing back as Tielemans had a bit too much time and space to try and play a pass, so he waited, and then Rodrigo came from behind and was robust with the challenge. As a result of that, it's going to be a free kick.
But that's the second one in the space of 2 minutes he's done. You've now given a foul away. It gives Leicester the opportunity to send all their players up, takes a little bit of pressure off, and this is what I'm talking about. You can tell already he's emotionally charged. It's a very fine line between passion and emotion. You want to see passion, but if he loses his head like that, which he's done a couple of times, and he booted the ball into the crowd after he, won the tackle, end up getting a silly booking, red card, and you can cost your team.
Mansfield 1, Leyton Orient 2. Raul Sotirio has scored the goal after 31 minutes. Oxford United have gone in front. They're fighting for their lives down at the bottom of League One. They lead Cheltenham by 1-0. Tyler Goodrum with the goal after 38 minutes. And here it's 1-0 to Leeds United. Everson comes out a long way to head the ball away, and it comes back to Luke Ayling, who tosses it back towards goal, but he was never going to beat the goalkeeper for that sort of range. It's an easy catch, and it's cleared away. You're listening to Talk Sport.
It's a good opportunity, actually, because the goalkeeper came out, headed it, and he was in no man's land. I mean, if Luke Ayling maybe would have had a bit more belief, a bit more power,
Leeds
could
have
have
got
caused
a bit of
problems
belief here, because Harrison's pinched it on halfway, but his ball forward was poor. Cut out by Castagna and cleared away and into the path of Tielemans, who drips it over the top for Iheanacho, and it goes right down the middle of Meslier and into his chest, and it will be bowled away. You're listening to Talksport. Leeds 1, Leicester 0. For the latest odds, you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get the next team to score. Leeds 21-20, Leicester 11-10, no score 15-2. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org. And Leeds United are so unreliable with a lead, Danny. They've dropped 18 points from winning positions so far this season.
I know he might not be particularly fit, But if they get to half-time, I'd put Forshaw on. I would take Rocker off and just say no. Put someone in there that's going to sit in front of the back two, and he's going to be composed. He's going to keep the ball at times, because that midfield too of Rocker and McKennie, they're all over the place at the moment.
McKennie giving the ball away once again. Christensen picks it up. Leeds are leading by 1-0. It is fascinating to hear you talk like that about the midfield too, and in particular Mark Rocker, because I've sat here for the last 2 weeks watching Leeds United, and everybody says the same thing. So, I mean, everybody can't be wrong, can they?
Well, no, and that's what it is. That holding midfield, whether it's one player or two player, is the most crucial position on the pitch if you want to dictate the game. And if you've got a player that's not playing well, or he's all over the place, obviously it's going to cause you problems.
Dean Smith looking a little bit pensive with his arms folded across his chest as the ball is thrown in down the left side, away by Ayling, picked up by Sinistera, the goal scorer, nabbed by Soyuncu. They want a foul, they're not going to get here. Into Maddison, needs to sweep it to the far side, but there's a bit of a space for Castagna to run into. Over the halfway line he goes, onto the wide right touchline, and Tete, then into Tielemans, who try to pop it down the right channel, straight into the path of Castagna, but it was blocked this time by Rocker. But it comes back to Maddison, edge of the area, through the legs of Firpo, into the box, free kick.
Oh, this needs
right
to be looked at.
Edge of the penalty area. It needs to be looked at because of geography, you think?
Yeah, I mean, the referee's gone to a yard outside the box. I think it's an awful lot closer than that. James Maddison seems absolutely furious.
Well, we got two big decisions here. Was this inside or outside the penalty area? It looks quite some way outside the penalty area. It is going to be a free kick over on the far side to Leicester. The other problem is for Leeds United's winger, Luis Sinistera, who has been crunched by Soyuncu.
That was a good tackle. There's nothing in it.
But he's still down getting treatment, and he looks in some pain.
Well, and obviously the fans are going to boo and think, you don't have to put the ball out. It's not a head injury. It's not life-threatening. It's not particularly serious. So, the referee and Leicester within in their rights to play on, whether Leeds fans like that or not.
Leeds lead by 1-0. We'll go to Blackburn in just a second. We're just about to have a free kick on the edge of the penalty area here. Bolton 0, Accrington Stanley 1. Ethan Hamilton with a go 3 minutes before half-time is the latest from League One. And Paul Tierney just checking on the progress of Luis Sinistera, who's hobbling off on this near side. We've got 4 blue shirts inside the penalty area, waiting for this delivery. Sinistera is back on his feet, looks as if he's going to continue. Willie Gnonto has just gone running down the touchline, and that's what the applause is from the Leeds United fan. They appreciate his talent. They want him involved this evening. Sinistera trying to run off that problem that he got after the collision with Soyuncu. Here's the free kick then, right edge of the area. And so I don't think Maddison is going to be able to go for goal from here. He has scored an incredible number of Premier League direct free kicks. He steps up right-footed towards the far post. He goes, misses the target by some distance, and misses any blue shirt, and gets a little bit of attention from the Leeds United fans. Welcome that miss with glee. So instead we will go off to the game at Ewood Park and find out how Burnley are going in their quest to try and seal the title tonight. Michael Gray.
29 minutes gone, it's still Blackburn Rovers 0, Burnley 0. It was the away side who settled the better. They were passing the ball around, got a lot of confidence playing in this game. They had a chance on 10 minutes with Zaroury. It was a 1v1 situation, and last minute challenge from Harry Carter stopped him from getting his shots away. Then on 22 minutes Dolan had an easily header saved. Apart from that, Blackburn have not really knocked on the door, but they are starting to push now the home side, and you can sense the crowd are behind them. So Blackburn 0, Burnley 0.
Back here it's still Leeds 1, Leicester City 0. Live on Talksport. Rodrigo nabs the ball from Samare, tosses it over the top, looking for Bamford. Goalkeeper's come out and he's going to get there ahead of Bamford. Just didn't get it under control. The idea was right. Quick release from Leeds United to get it over the top, trying to release Patrick Bamford, but he couldn't get away. McKennie's miscontrolled it on the near side. It's gone out once again. It's, Jesse Marsh was in charge of this team for a long time, Bielsa too. You felt when Bielsa was in charge of them, the quick frenetic movements that were so integral to the way that they played were chaotic at times, but choreographed. Under Jesse Marsh they lacked that sort of choreographed nature, and tonight again it looks a little bit scattergun. They've got a big problem here because Sinistera is going to have to come off.
Yeah, but you're exactly right, Sam. That's the whole problem at the moment. If I was out there now, I'd say, lads, calm down, will you? Just put your foot on the ball. Get a few passing. We're 1-0 up. We're in a good position. We don't need to attack every single time. We don't need to attack every time we've got the ball. Take the sting out of the game. Get a few passes. And that's why I'd be looking at Forshaw. And obviously I know Sinisterra is now going to have to come off, and it looks like... No, it's not Nonto that's going to come on, is it?
Well, we'll see in just a moment.
No, he's still warming up.
No, he's not. It's not going to be him. It'll probably be Somerville, won't it? He played at the weekend.
That's what it is. So again, clearly the manager, although his bundles of energy doesn't quite trust Nonto at the moment. But I'd be looking at...
Or they're protecting their asset because they're going to sell him for huge money in the summer.
Well, still going to, whether he gets in, it doesn't make any difference, does it? Still going to sell him. Simple as that. Teams will look at that. That won't be an issue. I just think someone like Darren Forshaw, get him on in the middle of the park, because they are so exposed. McKennie is all over the shop. Rocker is all over the shop. Darren Forshaw would sit in that space.
Adam Forshaw.
Adam Forshaw, sorry, would sit in that space.
He's only played twice since New Year's Eve, though.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to run around. He just has to sit in that space and protect the back four. Give me the ball, pass it. Give me the ball, pass it. Let McKennie or Rocker do all the running around for him.
On comes Somerville. Off goes Sinisterra. And a few words of encouragement from Patrick Bamford as he walks over towards the far side. It's a like-for-like replacement, really.
Leeds are in a great position at the moment. They're at home. They're 1-0 up. Manage the game, which is what they haven't been able to do in the last, 3 games.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it to you earlier. 18 points from winning position. Only Leicester and Nottingham Forest have dropped more than Leeds United. They are in front thanks to a Luis Sinisterra goal here on Talksport at Allen Road. 32 minutes gone. Half-time's coming in from around the grounds in the EFL. Lincoln City 0, Burton 0, Grimsby 1, Crewe Alexandra 0 is the latest scoreline. Rocker dabs it back to Firpo. To the halfway line it goes. Infield to Tielemans and then back wide to Maddison as Leicester come on the attack. A low ball in towards the edge of the penalty area, steered away by Cooper. Picked up by Harrison and then clipped out towards the far side. Leicester will deal with that. And it's really poorly sent forward. It goes almost straight to Somerville. Couldn't get it under control. It snapped at his heels and goes out over on the far side. As much as Leeds have been chaotic, Leicester City haven't really dealt with the ball as confidently as they initially suggested they were going to.
No, they started the game, I thought, quite well, and they got that goal and you thought, oh, this could be real problems. Obviously it was disallowed for an offside. Leeds are still a touch on the chaotic side for me.
Do you think that sort of suggests just how fragile the confidence can be in groups that are fighting against relegation? They didn't get the goal that they thought they'd got. It was chalked off. There'll be one or two thinking, oh, maybe it's gone against us. Immediately they then concede at the other end, and all of a sudden it does just cloud your judgment a little bit.
Yeah, but I still think Leicester, there's still clearly a plan of the way that they're playing. Tielemans is getting on the ball a lot. Maddison's getting on the ball a lot. They're finding pockets. They're finding space. They haven't quite produced it in the final third yet.
Well, they're coming down the right side now, and Maddison's got it after being played in by Castagna. He's held onto it well. Tete sends it out towards the right side. Castagna is there, tries to take on Somerville, dives in, pokes it out, and it's away for a throw-in. Down by the corner flag. Plymouth Argyle 0, Bristol Rovers 0. Bristol Rovers down to 10 men. That's the latest scoreline at half-time in that game. Oxford United 1, Cheltenham 0. And Barnsley have just gone behind. Ipswich 1-0 up. Nathan Broadhead with the goal after 44 minutes. Big result that will be for Ipswich Town if they can get over the line in that game, because it'll put some distance between them and Sheffield Wednesday with only a couple of matches to play. And as a result of that, there'll be big favourites to get back up into the Championship. Half-time in the Premier League. Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0 is the latest scoreline. That game is over on Talksport 2 right now, which you can listen to via our app. Just download it. You can flick between the two stations. Bolton 0, Accrington Stanley 1 is another half-time score. And Oxford 1, Cheltenham 0. Here, it's 1-0 to Leeds United, live on Talksport with 10 minutes to go before the break. And Leeds have managed that situation, that break from Leicester down the right side well. It goes out for a throw-in. And it's their throw-in in front of the Jack's Charlton stand opposite us. It's tossed in towards Bamford, headed back towards Firpo. who then sends it forward. Back it comes. Cooper in the air, Samari in the air, bit of head tennis going on. It falls to Iheanacho. His back heel doesn't find its way to Barnes, but Samare's picked it up midpoint of the Leeds half. Wide left it goes, and the fair head Christensen into Iheanacho. Shrugs off a challenge of McKennie in midfield, and as a result of that, a free kick is given against him, an accusation of an elbow. I don't think it was anything malicious, but certainly he was just trying to strong-arm McKennie off the ball.
It's never been, is it? Let's be honest. McKennie comes steaming into the back. Ian actually just holds him off. McKennie throws himself to the referee throws himself to when he buys it.
Half-time, Swindon 0, Stevenage 1. And Stevenage trying to edge themselves towards an automatic promotion place.
What's Iheanacho supposed to do there? He puts his arm out to hold him off. He doesn't raise his arm. McKennie's shorter. It goes in and around his shoulder neck area, and he throws himself to the floor.
1-0 here. Leeds will take it. And they'll take anything at this moment in time. Anything that breaks up the game, stops Leicester coming forward. Christensen, who's had a iffy first 36 minutes, just shoots the ball into the sky, and it just bounces out and away rather harmlessly for a throw-in on this near side. Again, Ruter now warming up down on this near touchline, and Rasmus Christensen warming up too, which gets a brief ripple of applause. Here is Ayling into Koch. Ayling again right side on the attack here. Thunders the ball in towards the penalty area. Bamford couldn't attack it. Goes behind and will go off to another goal at the Emirates. And Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
10 to go. It's Arsenal 1, West Ham 4. A corner headed in at the far post by Caelan Casey. All over here now. West Ham winning the trophy for the first time in 25 years. Arsenal 1, West Ham 4.
Yeah, the last group that did that included some famous names of English football, and it could be that there might be some famous names emerging from that FA Cup youth winning side. And last year Manchester United won it in front of a huge crowd, and I tell you what, some of those players are very highly thought of, and I wonder whether or not we'll get the same emerging talent from that West Ham group, who seem to be steamrolling Arsenal in that Youth Cup final. Manchester City against Arsenal is live tomorrow night on Talksport. It's only on Talksport, so make sure you join Adrian and I and Stuart Pearce and Perry Groves for that one. We can't wait for it. So Onchu plays a bind pass back towards his goalkeeper. Everson has to kick it clear because he was being shut down by Rodrigo. They've managed to get themselves out of a tight spot, and Maddison is bringing the ball away on this left-hand side. He's twirling away from McKennie into the middle of the park, and Tielemans now sending it wide towards the right-hand side. Joining the attack is Castagna. Back towards Tielemans' edge of the area. Clips the ball in towards the far post, punched away by Meslier. Ayling tried to get it away but couldn't, and then it comes back into midfield, and there's space for Tielemans to crack one again. Instead he lifts it over the top, down the right side to Tete, into the right wing position where it's picked up now by Castagna. Castagna back to Tielemans on towards the right, and Tete trying to get towards the edge of the area, and Leeds getting men behind the ball now and plugging the gaps, but the ball's been played round the corner, and Somerville has headed it back towards his goalkeeper, who's caught it, and it's an easy catch for Meslier, and he will be able to clear. 39 minutes gone. Again, it doesn't look particularly rigid, it looks quite flimsy, but they managed to keep Leicester out.
Well, I said Leeds have to win this game by hook or by crook, no matter how. It doesn't matter.
It might be hook and crook.
Well, yeah, it's kick the ball in the stands at every opportunity if you have to. Waste as much time as you possibly can, because you're right, at the moment, although they're 1-0 up, they still look very, very vulnerable. But it doesn't matter. They do have that lead at the moment. That's the positive.
Yeah, the bad news is they concede most of their goals in the second half of matches. Christensen gets clattered by Rodrigo. That was a little bit over-aggressive.
That's his third. He's got to be careful.
Leeds 1, Leicester City 0 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Remember, tomorrow morning, Laura Woods returns with Rangers legend Ali McCoist at 6 o'clock on the award-nominated Talksport Breakfast Show. Glenn Hoddle is on the show. If you fancy something different on your morning commute, you can check out the Chris Evans Breakfast Show weekdays from 6:30 tomorrow morning on Virgin Radio. Listen to Virgin Radio on DAB digital radio. Download the app as well. West Ham's Jared Bowen and Newcastle duo Joel Linton and Bruno Guimaraes on White and Jordan from 10 o'clock tomorrow. Late foul on Maddison, which generates a free kick just short of the halfway line.
That's not a booking. I don't understand referees sometimes. It's a tackle from behind. Maddison spins him, and the referee just says free kick.
Ball goes out wide, picked up by Tete. Leeds fans will be pretty happy with the way things are going at the moment, though, Danny. Even if maybe one of the two of the Leicester fans might not be. That was a little bit late by Ayling on Barnes. That's going to be a yellow card. He's claiming he's got the ball there, but Barnes went down. It looked like he was stretching. He wasn't in particular control of that.
I thought that was all right. Let's have another look at it on the replay. See?
But it's the follow-through, isn't it?
Well, it's not a lot he can do about that. He slides and he wins the ball twice. And he just catches him on the following. I don't think that's that bad.
Is it because he lifts his right foot as he goes through?
But that doesn't catch him. It's his left foot that's on the ground. He makes contact with the ball. He then makes contact with the ball with his left foot. And momentum's going to take him somewhere. I don't think that's a particularly bad challenge.
Maybe the referee was thinking about the force of the challenge and whether that was necessary. Either way, he's given a yellow card. There's a little bit of afters going on between Bamford and
do you know what I think it is?
Frustrated with it.
Yeah, do you know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that Rodrigo's gone into steaming into a couple.
So you think he's evening up, managing?
Well, no, and then McKennie gets away with one, and all of a sudden you've had four strong challenges in a very short space of time, and all of a sudden the referee goes, you know what, I'm having no more of it. I'm gonna stamp it out now. And Luke Ayling's probably unlucky because that's probably the best challenge of all four of them.
Well, the referee has given him a yellow card. He is the first to go in the referee's notebook, and it's Leeds who lead by 1-0. Sinisterra, who has since departed the scene because of an injury, and he picked up in what was deemed a fair challenge.
Oh, there you go. Fourth official's getting involved now.
Ah, yes.
Jobsworth.
Michael Salisbury just having a quick word with Paul Tierney, and then Paul Tierney and his assistant as well, actually, on this near side. Is that Neil Davis he's having a chat with. And then Tierney now wants to have a quick word with Harrison. No, he's moving him away from the free kick.
With absolute nobody. So the point of that was?
We haven't got the access to the VAR feed, and we can't listen to what they're saying. Paul Tierney's going to allow this free kick to take place. He's looking at the players who are lined up 6 or 7 yards outside the penalty area. Tielemans with a decent delivery towards the back post, headed away by McKennie, comes out as far as Tete and back to the wide right position. The cross into the box is blocked by Firpo, goes straight into Barnes. Barnes is back on his feet after that challenge, has it in the wide right position, produces the cross in towards the near post, headed away by Cooper, and it's out by the corner flag on the far side, the way for a throw-in to Leicester City. 2 minutes to go before half-time. Now, the Crystal Palace game I was at here, it was a game where Leeds dominated that first 45, got in front and then conceded a late goal just before half-time and then capitulated afterwards. They've got to make sure they see this through to half-time if they want to try and win this match. It's Maddison in towards the near post. And Cooper has not connected with that at all well. And it's just gone out and away for a corner kick over on the far side. He looked nervy.
And that's a little bit of the panic that you're talking about. Just let the ball come onto your foot. The pace of the ball will get it into the crowd or whatever it might be. You don't need to start swinging at things in your own penalty area.
So here's the corner, taken on the far side. Tielemans has placed the ball down. He's going. Tielemans is on the edge of the area, waiting for the ball to come out. Goes in towards the near post. It's Harrison who tries to clear, but he's sorted it right back into his own box. It's headed further away. Samare tries to chest it forward. About fast back out towards Tete, who took the corner. It bounces down, and then it's controlled by Somerville, then picked up by Rocco, who's looking to release Bamford. It's too heavy, and Everson is going to get there first, but he's given it straight back to Ayling again, and Ayling's got space to run into this time, and he's doing just that. He's got Harrison to his wide right, goes into the area instead. It wasn't a great delivery, and now they're a little bit misshapen as Leicester threaten to get away. Here Nacho gets away from McKennie, who had a couple of nibbles at him. Then Somerville goes in, wins the ball on the far side. Play on, says the referee. Again, it's a quick turnover, and again, it's a little bit chaotic, and they come forward down the left side now, Leeds. Moving towards the edge of the box. It's played in towards Rodrigo. It's a short pass, a poor pass, but he makes the best of it. Rocker takes over. Wide on the left. We're approaching the last few seconds of the first half. Castagna swipes the ball away from Rodrigo. It goes out on the far side, and we'll have 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45 minutes.
Leeds are winning, so you can't complain about the result so far. But it very much just feels like It's all just run around as much as you possibly can, close people down. No real tactics in the game, no real thought about it. I think he's going to have to change something at half-time. Although they're winning, you still worry for them, the way that they're playing.
Leicester playing
look how open that is.
Through the middle of the park, and they've worked it out through Samari, off Tete, through Madison, into Christensen on the left-hand side. He's halfway up inside Leeds territory. Samari turns it back into midfield, and now it's with Soyuncu, onto Madison, back to Soyuncu again. Once again, Leicester City have failed to keep a clean sheet. It's back in November, the last time they managed to go through 90 minutes without conceding a goal.
Leeds going to have to be careful. That's Leeds Rodrigo now booked.
Another free kick, and you're right about Rodrigo, because he was heading towards one of those, wasn't he? Mount Fass was bringing the ball out. Rodrigo was late with the challenge, and that was his fourth, and for tossing up, he gets a yellow card. And that's what I'm talking about. They've got to calm down a little bit. They've got to play with cool heads. They're winning 1-0. They're in a fantastic position. They don't have to be at 100 miles an hour every single time they get the ball. The Foxes have never lost more than 20 matches in a 38-game season. Lose tonight and it will be their 21st defeat of the campaign. And they are losing here as we approach half-time with 4 minutes of stoppage time to play. They have a free kick, though, wide on the right-hand side. Leeds often vulnerable from these sort of dead ball situations. Wout Fass up from the back, Castagna in there as well. Here Nacho runs towards the near post. It's headed away by Bamford. And collected over on the far side by Somerville, and he's under pressure from Madison, and it goes out for a goal kick, and Madison wanted a corner over on the far side. A grimace from Madison as he gets a bit of attention from the Leeds United crowd again, and it's going to be a goal kick away to our left hand side. So it's Leeds 1, Leicester 0. You're listening to Talksport. Half-time, Blackburn-Burnley is 0-0. We'll get there in just a second. Wolverhampton Wanderers lead Crystal Palace on the Talksport app by a goal to 0. Aston Villa at half-time lead Fulham by a goal to 0. Ipswich Town 2-0 up now against Barnsley. That's half-time. Accrington lead Bolton 1-0. 0-0 Lincoln against Burton. Oxford 1, Cheltenham 0. Oxford fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. And Plymouth 0, Bristol Rovers 0. Bristol Rovers down to 10 men. Grimsby 1-0 up against Crewe. Leyton Orient leading at Mansfield. Newport 2-1 down to Harrogate now. And Stevenage, who still vying for promotion, leading Swindon by a goal to 0. You're up to date and you're listening to Talksport. Remember, all the matches this week from the Premier League are live and exclusive to national radio right here on Talksport, the Talksport app and Talksport 2. Leicester have had 57% possession, 3 shots on goal, none on target, but a goal disallowed. Leeds have scored with their only shot on target in the game so far. We're deep into stoppage time at the end of the first half. We've played 3.5 of the 4 added minutes. And it's Mark Rocker who's going to take a free kick for Leeds just over the halfway line right side. He drips the ball towards the back edge of the penalty area. It's away by Castagna. Patrick Bamford was coming around the back. Castagna spotted that. And switched by Firpo to the right side. Headed away by Barnes, and it comes out and away for a throw on the near touchline for Leeds. One last attack maybe at the end of the first half. It's certainly not been a straightforward night so far. Been a little bit chaotic. 2 Leeds players have gone into the book already. They've had to substitute Sinistera because of an injury, and they were lucky to get a goal chalked off for Leicester. They did score with a header at the far post by Sinistera before he was taken off with injury. They could do without injuries because another one of their big players, Max Verber's not in the squad today. Well, it's just the kind of response that Leeds United wanted. It certainly wasn't perfect, that's for sure, and there was a little bit of fortune to it as well, but they are the only ones to have breached the goal legitimately in that first 45 minutes. Luis Sinistera, with his 7th goal of the season, subsequently had to be substituted, but he's given Leeds the lead at half-time. The big problem is that Leeds don't usually hold on to these advantages. They must tonight if they want to put themselves some distance between them and the relegation zone. Leeds 1, Leicester City 0.
Interesting, as the half-time whistle went, Yuri Tillman went straight to the referee to have a word. Luke Ayling also went over. There's a big cuddle between him and James Maddison. I think Luke Ayling was definitely upset about the yellow card he had, and probably rightly so as well. As it stands, the Premier League table, Leeds will be 4 points clear of the bottom three. In fact, the bottom four, Leicester leading that bottom four mini table, if you like, on goal difference, will be Southampton on 24, Forest 27, Everton on 28, Leicester on 28, and then the 4 point jump to Leeds and Bournemouth a point further clear. So far, Danny Mills, a good night for Leeds United. You can't dress it up any other way. However, you've got misgivings about how they're playing and how it might turn out in the second half.
If they hold on to this, magnificent. Sometimes it's not about how, it's about how many points you get. And I said that at the start, it doesn't matter how you get the result tonight, you've got to get it. It does look incredibly shaky at times. Leicester, I think, will still have a lot of belief that they can get back in this game. Leeds have just got to calm down. It's too frenetic at times. It is absolutely 150 miles an hour. When they get the ball, it's like, quickly, can we score immediately? They don't need that right now. They just need someone to put the foot on the ball, get a few passes in, take the sting out of the game. A little bit of game management is what they need, and that's why I think Adam Forshaw coming on would be absolutely perfect.
OK, Yuri Tielemans banged in a cracker. It was offside, a little bit unlucky to be offside. The kind of ball hit Samarian.
Yeah.
But it was offside, you can't argue with it. However, I thought Leicester lost a bit. I thought heads dropped a little bit after that. Didn't really create too many chances, had a lot of the ball, but when you've got brilliant players like Maddison, you would expect them to create a little bit more. Are you going to give Leeds a little bit of credit defensively for, even though he's been on the ball, they've kind of kept him not quiet, but he's not been dangerous?
No, I'd be looking at the bench, and I'd be looking at Jamie Vardy, his goal threat. Simple as that.
He's got one in the Premier League this season.
Well, but he's still going to be a threat. I might even play him on the right hand side. Take Tete off. Either play Iheanacho out there or play Jamie Vardy out there. Play him against Firpo. All the best, mate.
Firpo's there for the taking, you're right.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, have a go at him.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy doesn't need a trick. Just knock it past him and run. And it's going to cause all sorts of problems. But Leicester have got there's clearly a plan, the way they're building up. Tielemans is getting on the ball quite a lot. Maddison is finding a lot of time and space. Leeds, when they get it, it's like, quickly, can we go and score? No, that's not what you need right now. The experience and game management. And I'm trying to look around, actually. They don't have a lot of it. They don't have too many leaders. Patrick Bamford's almost been non-existent, in that first half. It's hardly touched the ball. Rodrigo's running around. He's got to be careful he doesn't get himself sent off. That could be an issue. Bearing
in mind the fouls he got away with, to go in like that on Soyuncu was utterly ridiculous, wasn't it?
Leeds are winning. That is the most important thing. They're 1-0 up. They've got into half time. Now change your mentality. Come out in the second half and be the most boring team on the planet.
This is Leeds. That's not going to happen, mate. It hasn't happened for about 5 years.
But that's the point. But that's where they've been. That's why they've been struggling. It's about making sure you win the game no matter what. You're winning in that leading position. Kill the game.
Well, Leeds are 1-0 up, and it might be the right tactic. Be boring, make sure you keep Leicester out, and Leeds will be 4 points clear of the bottom three come the end of the evening. Leicester will only be out of the bottom three on goal difference as things stand. Elsewhere, live on Talksport 2, Villa are 1 up, and they're going 5th as things stand. Wolves on the Talksport app are 1 up, and they're going above West Ham into 13th on 37 points, which for me will be safety as things stand. Let's go to the top of the Championship. It's half-time at Ewood Park, Mickey Gray.
Where it is, Blackburn Rovers 0, Burnley 0. The home side settled the quicker and a lot of possession. They had a couple of real goal threats going forward, and on 10 minutes it was Zarore, a 1v1 just before he was challenged by Harry Carter with a last-ditch challenge. That's probably as close as Burnley have came actually in the first half. Then it was Blackburn's turn to push forward, and on 22 minutes the ball fell to Tyrese Dolan in the box. His header was looped towards the top corner, but it was a simple save for the goalkeeper Muric. Then on 36 minutes, Smodics with a free kick. He broke into the 18-yard area and it took a slight deflection and fired over the top of the crossbar. A lot of great play, Adrian, I have to say, but both sides, when they're in the final third, have been a little bit lacklustre. I want to see more from this East Lancashire derby in the second half. John Dahl Thomason wants to try and get into those playoffs with a big win against the big rivals, and obviously Vincent Kompany wants to try and win the Championship title tonight. Let's hope we get that in the second half. Blackburn 0, Burnley 0.
And full time in the FA Youth Cup final at the Emirates Matty and Abrams.
Arsenal 1, West Ham 5. So West Ham win the FA Youth Cup for the first time in 24 years, behind to Amari Benjamin's 7th-minute goal for Arsenal. After that, the Gunners were smashed. West Ham scored 3 first-half goals. George Early from 20 yards, Callum Marshall a tap-in and a 35-yard lob from Gideon Kuda. And the second half, Keelan Casey headed in at the far post before substitute Josh Biggs, who'd only just come on, also tapped in. West Ham have been outstanding in this tournament. They've been outstanding at youth competition this season, Adrian, and for the first time this century they have won the FA Youth Cup. Well done to Kevin Keane. Arsenal 1, West Ham 5.
Oh, well, I've got to say, on drive earlier, Andy Goldstein was trying to get Jack Wilshere on ahead of him coaching the Arsenal side in that Youth Cup final. I do wonder if they'll be able to get him on drive tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent on Talksport, not to be missed. All right, let's get an update though, deep into the second half at Molineux from a 7:30 kickoff. What's the latest there? Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Yeah, we are 67 minutes on the clock here. Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0. Anderson's own goal after 3 minutes, still separating these two sides. And there's a lot of pretty football being played, but not too much in the penalty area at this moment in time. Palace coming into this game high on confidence, but the midfield's looked weak. He's just made a couple of changes there, bringing Schlupp in and then moving Eze back into that midfield three, which has worked so successfully since Roy Hodgson came back to Crystal Palace. Eze did have a volley that was whizzed well wide, and they're putting some decent balls in the penalty area, but nothing doing so far. As for Wolves, Dawson had a free header from a corner that he's put over the crossbar. It's a very loud night at Molineux. Wolves getting behind that team, and at this moment in time they've got the 3 points that should move them safe. Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Yeah, that's live right now on the Talksport app. Just download it for free. It's easy to use. Go to live games and that will navigate you to where you need to be to listen to the game of your choice. So Premier League, Wolves are 1 up, Aston Villa lead 1-0 on Talksport 2, and here at Elland Road it's Leeds 1, Leicester 0. You're listening to Kickoff live on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Rodri to De Bruyne. Flicked on to Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast, so make time for you time with Just Eat. For early times, lunch times, late times, strange times. The perfect times for the McDonald's Sausage and Egg McMuffin, Five Guys Cheeseburger and Strawberry Shake, Domino's Pepperoni Passion, plus more from Costa Coffee, Creams Cafe and Pizza Express. So order now, later, in a bit, whenever. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Product subject to availability in restaurant and serving times. Participating stores only. See justeat.co.uk for details.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
Selco Builders Warehouse. We've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In April, we've got 30% off the range of Sam Primed MDF skirting and architrave with a new and improved, brighter, whiter, smoother finish. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
And he's barrelled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar, past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result! Enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in! Conditions apply. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
For all the top Premier League analysis, listen to The Game, the Premier Football podcast from The Times. Every Monday and Thursday, join Hugh Woosencroft and a host of big-name guests for in-depth reaction and opinion on the latest action and the biggest issues in the world of football.
It's a massive goal!
Hear previews of all the upcoming matches and provocative and compelling opinions from some of the finest football writers from The Times and The Sunday Times.
Lovely bit of football.
Listen to The Game on the free Times Radio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Summer's almost here, and the national hunt season is about to ride into the sunset. But before it does, there's time for one last party. And given the season Irish horses have had, it's only appropriate that they host the party. Get a £10 free bet when you bet £10 worth of multiples, available this Saturday at Punchestown. With Betfair.
Opt-in required. Free bet valid for 48 hours and racing multiples only. Min combined odds 2.0. Max 1 per day. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with a Now Sports membership. Stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Game day. A broadcasting dynamo of supercharged Premier League football coverage.
Tucked into the near post.
Game day kickoff on Talksport.
Well, 2 goals right at the end of the first half in League One for Ipswich was going to take them top. They're 2-0 up at Barnsley, Broadhead and Hurst with those goals. But Plymouth have just taken the lead against 10-man Bristol Rovers. Niall Ennis with the goal that will mean they stay top of the table if it stays like that. And down at the bottom, Oxford about to put 3 points between them and the bottom 4. Carl Joseph has got a second. They lead Cheltenham 2-0. Don't miss breakfast with Stig Abel and Asma Mir on Times Radio tomorrow morning. Listen to this. Noel Gallagher will face off against Piers Morgan ahead of Man City against Arsenal. It's a great show anyway. I love listening to Times Radio Breakfast. It's from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Listen on DAB or download the free Times Radio app. 1-0 to Leeds here against Leicester. Waiting for the second half live on Talksport. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
On Nicola McGeady, Leeds in charge, but is it going to stay that way in the second half?
Hi, Adrian. Yeah, it's been a real scrappy match, but it's Leeds who have obviously that all-crucial lead. They're 4-9 favourites. We do think they're going to see this one out. The stakes are high here, though, so anything can happen. It's 3-1 that any player will be sent off. The draw is 14-5. We make Leicester 7-1 to turn it around, but they haven't had a shot on target. Both teams to score is still odds on at 4-6 though. It's 11-10 Leicester don't score. So as far as we're concerned, there will be more goals shipped in the second half. We have Bramwell, Moreno 7-2 and Bamford is 9-2. Obviously the other games are well underway. It's not looking good for Palace or Fulham. Looking at those prices, both Wolves and Aston Villa, long odds on favourites now, both 2-11 for all 3 points.
Nicola, thank you very much. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
I told you Plymouth had just gone 1 up against 10-man Bristol Rovers. Plymouth are now 2 up against 10-man Bristol Rovers. Macaulay Gillespie with the second that will take Argyle, or keep Argyle, top of the table. But basically with Ipswich winning 2-0, Plymouth winning 2-0, those two red-hot favourites, pole position for the two automatics, and it looks like Sheffield Wednesday may have to resort to the playoffs, and they did that last season and it did not go well. More to come, goals as they go in, remainder of those games, but the second half about to get underway here at Ellen Road. Both teams are back out there. Leeds, well, as it stands, they're going 4 points clear of the drop zone. They lead Leicester 1-0, second half, live and exclusive on Talksport with Danny Mills and Sam Matface.
Lacked a little bit of composure, lacked a bit of control. It wasn't the most artistic first 45 minutes. I spoke to a few of the journalists at half-time, one of whom said to me, I said, good luck, enjoy the second half. He said, well, I've only got to write about it, you've got to talk about it. I said, well, don't worry, I've got Danny Mills. And he said, well, that's good then, because he likes the sound of his own voice.
That's very nice of him. Well, someone's got to like it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we all do, Danny. I said,
no one else likes it. I've got to like it myself, haven't I? It's the only one I've got.
We love it. And Danny is with us throughout the course of the next hour or so as we bring you the conclusion of this match. And I'm sure Danny will be around for the next few weeks as well, when we've got another batch of live commentaries for you over the course of the next few weeks and months as the season comes to its conclusion. Leeds United want to get over the line tonight. They've only won 1 of their last 9 against Leicester in all competitions, and that was a 3-1 win at the King Power Stadium in January 2021. Much headier days. Bielsa was still in charge. Bamford had a role in all 3 goals, and Leeds were thinking about Europe. It was one of the best matches of that season, but times are different now for both of them, Danny, aren't they?
Well, they certainly are. They're both struggling at the moment. Leeds have got their nose in front. They've just got to calm down. When you were talking about, erratic, lax composure, I thought you were going to talk about me for a minute, rather than like the sound of my own voice. But talking to, one or two journalists, getting the coffees downstairs, they do that. Everyone's still a bit nervous. What's going to happen? It's been far too frantic at times. You're winning the game. Just calm it down. Start to play now and be sensible about this game. Don't necessarily need to score another goal, but don't give away any silly chances either.
Talksport live at Ellen Road. White shirts, white shorts and socks for Leeds United, attacking the goal away to our left, the Don Revie stand. And Leicester all in blue, trying to get back into the game, shooting from left to right. No further changes at half-time. I'll go through the 11s for you in just a second, and we'll keep you up to date with all the action of the pursuit of the title in the Championship and promotion and relegation races that are going on in League One and League Two this evening as well. Castagna has it on the near side. Leicester, who have got Everson in goal, Castagna, Fast, Sancho and Christensen in the back four, Tielemans and Samare. Maddison playing as a 10 with the wingers Tete and Barnes, and Iheanacho as the lead striker, coming forward with Christensen into Leeds territory. Iheanacho has it now, back to goal. On to Tielemans, who works it wide. Out towards the left, and now Maddison. Maddison with a chance to cross in towards Barnes, headed away by Koch, chested down by Ayling. And then he clips it to the far side. Samare trying to reach it, does, nudges it out and away for a throw-in. Leeds have got Meslier in goal. Ayling, Koch, Cooper and Firpo the back four. Ayling's been booked. McKennie and Rocker holding in midfield. Harrison, Rodrigo and now Somerville, who replaced Sinisterra in the first half. Bamford up top. Rodrigo has also been booked. Well, both these clubs are coming to the end of golden periods. Leicester have won the Premier League, played in the Champions League, the Europa League and the Conference League, won the FA Cup, the Charity Shield. Leeds spent so long outside the Premier League. Just to be in the top flight again for 3 seasons has been an achievement, but the last 12 months has been harder for them. They were in love with Bielsa, broke up and have had 4 men in the dugout since. Javi Gracia started well enough, but it started to fall away. He's getting frustrated down in the touchline, just in front of us, away to our right hand side, as Leeds looks to try and get the ball forward. Chasing it is Bamford over on the right side. Sancho comes across and nudges it back to Everson, the tall, lanky goalkeeper. Hoists the ball into the sky. Not the best of clearances. Rocker wins it back. Somerville through to Bamford, trying to keep hold of it. Gets away from Fast in a bit of a tight knot on the edge of the D. Castagna comes across and prods it clear. Picked up by Tielemans. Back towards the right side. And now Fast gets it forward up to halfway. Iheanacho turns under a little bit of pressure. Lost the ball to Firpo. Wins it back. It's fired back into Bamford. Edge of the area. Left-footed shot blocked by Sancho. Goes out on this near side. Castagna bellows at the referee and suggests that there should have been a foul. And Iheanacho referee said no. Continue.
If that had been a goal, would they have been able to come back and look at that? Is that?
I think it was key enough and close enough to the turnover of possession. It would have been in the same phase, yes.
Because it's a clear foul. Look, he grabs his shirt and then he trips him up.
Did you not get the ball?
No, trips him up first.
5 minutes into the second half, Talksport, and it's Leeds 1, Leicester City 0. Remember, tomorrow night, Manchester City against Arsenal. Oh, mistake by Samare. Rodrigo's taken too many touches. Right-footed shot, didn't get any power in it. Blocked by Sionchu. Comes back to McKennie. And then Samare returns for his error by smuggling it to halfway. Mistake by Leicester to allow Rodrigo to have the ball inside the 18-yard box. But he had no killer instinct, Danny Mills.
What an opportunity that was. I mean, I didn't see who missed the header. But it was a glaring mistake, and he went to shoot.
Here's a cross from the right side towards the far post. Rodrigo with a header over the top of the bar. I think it was Samare who missed the header initially.
He went to sort of have a shot, then dummied again, and it was like, just pull the trigger. And in the end, when he did, it was so weak. Just watching it, but yeah, it was really tepid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure in the end it probably counts as shot on target. But look, he's in a great opportunity. Shoot. Dummies it again, and then the chance is gone.
Well, it's big for Leeds United, this. It will put 4 points between them and the bottom three, should they manage to hold on to this victory. It's bad for Leicester City, who would have played a game more than Nottingham Forest and Everton, and both those two teams over the next couple of nights will have the opportunity to leapfrog them in the table.
And then Leicester Everton on Monday.
Yeah, should we do that? I think we'll do that on Talksport Monday night live. Yeah, we'll do that. Why not?
That could be a relegation decider.
Here on the right side, the ball picked up by Castagna. He's still got quite a way to go in this game. 40 minutes to play. You never know. They might come back and win. Not if they give the ball away in midfield like that. Samari almost did and then has recovered it. Turned it over just over the halfway line. Overran it. Rockers nipped in and now Rodrigo's going to escape and Samari with a cynical trick. That's going to be a yellow card. Well, he took an emergency action because he knew he'd made several mistakes. He made 4 mistakes in that passage of play.
Yeah, just too hesitant on the ball. Allowed Rocker to nip in and grab it. And you can start to see now there's now nervousness creeping into Leicester. You know, they'll start to, a little bit of... And as the game goes on, if they haven't got back into it, there'll be a little bit of panic.
That's what we mentioned in the first half there, wasn't it? Just how quickly the sort of fragility pendulum can swing from one side to the other. You know, when you're down there, you're scrapping, you might come into the game like Leicester did with a bit of confidence, as Jason was telling us prior to the start of the match, but very quickly that confidence can be sapped away from you if a couple of decisions go against you, like the VAR goal, which was chalked off, and then, you know, you lose a goal in quick succession, all of a sudden you're up against it. And now Leicester look a little bit nervy at the start of this second half.
And that's why generally the teams with a plan, the teams that are solid, that, oh my goodness.
That's Rocker from behind on James Maddison, 4 yards short of the halfway line, and it's a yellow card from Mark Rocker.
Should that not...
What, you're giving it orange? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, there's no chance at all he can win the ball from that position. Goes right through the back of the player.
We're at a little bit of a higher level than sin bins, but if that was available to the referee, that could have been the option, I think. It was a little bit naughty, wasn't it?
But he can't win the ball. He has to go through the player's Achilles.
Well, luckily, James Maddison is okay, chasing down into the corner to try and win the ball. The ball goes out on the far side, a deflection off the England man. And it's out for a throw into Leeds United, who, you know, are being backed by this crowd. You know, I thought when the Tielemans goal went in, it could have gone the other way.
Had it gone 1-0 at half-time, it would have gone the other way.
But even in the aftermath, when they hadn't realised that the goal had been disallowed yet, they still tried to get behind their team. It was early in the match. And then, when it was disallowed, that sort of turned up the temperature inside this stadium and just elevated the atmosphere. And they've got behind their team throughout the course of it. It's not pretty. It's not...
And it's getting scrappier by the minute, isn't it?
Elegant Premier League football. This is a proper dogfight. But both these two teams are in a dogfight, which is why Jamie Vardy is warming up down in front of us. Wilfred Ndidi is too, and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall for Leicester City. And while Brendan Aronson, with his hair held back by an Alice band, and Jorginho Ruter are getting ready for Leeds United. Here is McKennie from the free kick, sending it wide towards the right. Again, it's a misplaced pass which goes out of play over on the far side. And it's away for a throw-in to Christensen.
Sam, I said at the beginning, you've got to fight, bite, scratch, scream, do everything possible to win this game. Doesn't matter how you win it, just win it.
Macaulay Gillespie has scored a second goal for Plymouth, who lead 2-0 at home against Bristol Rovers. They're heading for promotion. Oxford United trying to stay in the league. Marcus Brown's got their third goal of the game. They lead Cheltenham by 3-0 tonight. 4-0 now. 65 minutes on the clock. They've given the ball away here, Leeds. It's been picked up by...
what was Liam Cooper doing?
It's poor play out from the back again after an attack had fizzled out from Leicester City, to be honest with you. He gave it straight back to them. Here's Tete into Tielemans. Needs a bit of composure on the ball, does Tielemans. And that Leicester City midfield that have lost their way a little bit at the start of the second half. Out to Christensen. Infield to Christensen again. And then Samare scoops it down the left side, looking for Barnes. Barnes tussling with Ayling. Ayling has to be a little bit careful because he's on a booking. Used his arms to just nudge Barnes away. It's not a great clearance from Harrison. It's loose on the edge of the box. And now Sionchu is keeping the pressure on, pushing the ball forward. Tielemans back to Fast. They're on halfway. That fourth goal for Oxford, scored by Marcus Brown, by the way. There's been a red card in the game at Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient up down to 10 men. Here's Tielemans, infield to James Maddison. Maddison chips it over the top, looking for the run of Tete, headed away by Koch, comes out as far as Castagna. The pressure coming from Leicester now, down the right. Still again, it's just not quite happening for them. It's a little bit frenetic, and it's just chucked out on the near side and away for a throw.
Leeds have just got to hold on for 5 minutes because the pressure is starting to build.
Talksport. 3 tonight, and another 7 to bring you over the course of the next 2 days as we bring you all the big matches from the Premier League at this crucial stage of the season. Manchester City will play Arsenal in a potential title decider, although Mikel Arteta said in his press conference today, whatever happens tomorrow will not decide the destination of the title.
It will. City win it, it will.
Said the former Manchester City fullback Danny Mills.
I've seen it in that position before. I think if City win that, the confidence that gives them, it'll be demoralising for Arsenal. I think they'll struggle to bounce back from that with some tough games to come.
We'll be there tomorrow night, live on Talksport, only on Talksport. Other games available on the Talksport app and on Talksport 2. Thursday night, Tottenham against Manchester United. It's okay, nothing's happened with Tottenham over the last 24 hours or so there's not much to discuss with that game. Bout Fass, out towards the right, finds Tielemans into the path of Castagna. Low cross into the near post, missed by Fass, almost came through to Iheanacho. Has it gone out? The linesman says it hasn't. It's set back towards Barnes and he's fired it over the top from a tight angle. What a miss.
He's got to hit the target. I think it probably, if it had gone out, I think it might have been would have been for a corner, I'm guessing.
Well, the ball came down the right-hand side. Castagna's cross went into the centre. Looked like it took a little deflection, actually. I think Fass missed that. It came off Cooper.
Yeah.
He should have left that for a corner, shouldn't he?
No, because he gives it to Harvey Barnes, who's looking to pick out the far corner. All the Leeds players stopped.
Yeah, what
and all put their arm. But there were 6 of them stopped and put their arm in the air. Defend properly.
Well, they may well be marching on together, but they're not doing it in unison at the moment, Leeds United. But they're getting away with it. 58 minutes gone. Talksport, Leeds 1, Leicester 0. It'll be a vital 3 points for Leeds if they can hang on to this. And it'll be a really demoralising defeat for Leicester City, who've got tough fixtures to come. Maddison tries to thread the ball down the right side. It's a really good ball, which is cut out by Somerville and tucked behind and away for a corner. And then Tielemans just goes over and Tete goes over and tries to, he's gone behind the post now, tries to elevate the crowd. Didn't realise that was the Leeds fans behind the goal and the Leicester fans are on this near side. He's going to take the corner. He's got Maddison and Tielemans on the edge of the D. Tete delivers the ball into the centre of the penalty area. It's headed away. Comes out as far as Tielemans, who needs to send it back to Tete and sent it into the first row of the stand instead. And then he hit that with some venom.
Yeah, it was sort of on the half volley, wasn't it? He tried to drive it out to make sure it got there very, very quickly. Just caught it off the outside of his boot. And this is better from Leeds. They're trying to slow the game down. Firpo's, he's walked over very, very slowly. He's pulled his socks up 4 or 5 times. Take the sting out of the game because they're under a little bit of pressure at the moment.
Leeds have been unbeaten in 3 games at home before the pummelling from Palace, but consistency has been a real problem for them all season.
The problem is Maddison's getting far too much of the ball at the moment.
And that's always a danger because he is the creative hub. And the ball's just been deflected by Samare back from whence it came, but Iheanacho couldn't challenge for it because he was in an offside position.
Maddison hasn't been able to do too much with it so far, but he's getting so much of the ball. Those sort of players, they need a moment. That's all they need to create something.
And with Leeds, there's always a worry that at any moment you can concede a goal. And then once one goes in, it quickly can become 2 and 3 in quick succession. And that is what Leicester will hope. Maddison's on the ball again, spreading it towards Iheanacho, who's isolated Cooper. Got to the edge of the box, tried to go past him. Cooper's brought him down. That's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the area and a yellow card for Liam Cooper.
Yeah, I think that's right as well. But again, it's Maddison picking that ball up in those little pockets. Where's your holding midfield player? Where's Rocker? Where's McKennie? What are they doing?
They're miles out of position.
But the most dangerous player on the pitch is Maddison. Someone go and man-mark him almost. That's just common sense.
Well, Liam Cooper has been booked. And he is just lining up the wall away to our right-hand side. The free kick about to be taken by Maddison, who has scored 8 Premier League goals from direct free kicks. He's placed the ball down a yard outside the D, and he's going to try and test Ilian Meslier. And Ilian Meslier has had a little bit of an issue with shots flying past him from this sort of distance.
Well, he's going to go far corner, left as we look. Sort of not necessarily over the wall, if that makes sense. Into the corner you wouldn't expect him to go in.
I think he'll go near corner. Here we go. He steps up, right-footed, in towards the wall, and he hits the wall. Doesn't find any corner.
Found the corner of the wall.
He found the corner of Liam Cooper's chin, I think. And it goes out for a corner kick on this near side, which Tete will take. There's 5 blue shirts waiting inside the penalty area for this delivery, but the pressure is ramping up on Leeds' defence. It's in towards the near post. Hooked goalwards by Barnes, plays it against the defender, and it comes back out to the near side. Didn't get clean contact on it. Away by Firpo, out for a throw into Leicester City, whose fans are standing and cheering their team on. Away to our right as they attack the Norman Hunter stand. A little bit hesitant from Tete, and the ball was kicked away from behind.
What's going on here?
Rodrigo. Well, I think Tete went to play the ball, and as he sort of stood on it, he waited too long, and Rodrigo came in from behind and then kicked it away from him. And I think before that, the referee had said they've got to take the throw in again or something, and they'd already stopped the play. So it's gone back out for the throw, and there was a little bit of a contretemps between Rodrigo and Tete, and then Leeds looked to break up to the halfway line. Bamford doesn't really have the pace to get away, falls over after contact from Soyuncu. Free kick is given in favour of Bamford, who's asking for a yellow card.
I think he's done well there to con the referee. Clever play from Bamford.
Well, there wasn't much in that, was there?
No.
Penalty at Molineux. Adam Bridge.
It's Ruben Neves with a chance to make it 2-0 for Wolves. We're in 5 added minutes at the end of the game. It's Neves against Johnson, and he puts it in the corner. It was Johnson's foul on Neto in the first place. He got a yellow card for it as well. And that's 2-0 to Wolves, and the points wrapped up.
Hampton Wanderers, and a pleasing one, I think, for Julian Lopetegui, because it means that as far as the table is concerned,
they're safe.
Very, very positive. They're up into 13th position with 37 points from 33 games, and that should be enough to keep Wolves in the division. Ball headed down by Cooper at the far post as the free kick goes in. There's a bit of juggling work from Everson, and it's cleared away. It does mean that West Ham drop a place, but they do play later in the week. And we'll have all the games live on Talksport. There was an incident from the corner kick where there was a shout for a penalty from Leicester City, because the ball seemed to pop up and hit Bamford's arm. Wasn't exactly too far away from his body, but there was a bit of shirt pulling and bits and pieces.
Yeah, but I also think it took a couple of ricochets on the way through, and it was very, very close. Although in the Champions League, was it last week? There was a ridiculous handball in that one.
It's not even worth mentioning, because literally, if it touches one cell of your arm, it's a penalty. No matter how it got there and how close it was in proximity. You're listening to Leeds, who lead Leicester by a goal to nil in the Premier League, live on Talksport with Now Sports. Don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream the Premier League live without a contract. $11.99. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via the internet. Terms apply. Here's Tielemans right side. Produces a cross which cannons off the chest of Firpo and goes behind and away for another corner kick to Leicester City.
It's going to be a long 6 minutes at this rate, isn't it, for Leeds?
It'll be a bit longer than that, probably half an hour with added time to play, the amount of time they're wasting at the moment. Here is the corner kick. It's a deep one towards Soyuncu at the far post, wins the header. Koch then heads it away. Meslier comes, doesn't get proper contact on it, but there's an offside flag up anyway. And there's been a goal at Ewood Park for Talksport's Mickey Gray.
It's Blackburn Rovers 0, Burnley 1, completely against the run of play. Blackburn have been absolutely outstanding in the second half, but Vincent Kompany's made changes. Manuel Benson's come on the right hand side. He's picked the ball up, chopped it in on his left foot and just curled it into the top right hand corner. I know you're doing commentary of the game, Sam, but there is massive trouble in the stand I'm doing the commentary from between the Burnley and Blackburn supporters. It's all kicking off. It's going absolutely crazy in this field, but it's Blackburn 0, Burnley 1.
So you're in the main stand. The smaller stand on the far side is where the home fans would usually... Where were the away fans then, Mickey?
Well,
just to try and paint the picture for us.
I think that they're on the right-hand side. They're in the Darwin end, Sam, but there's Burnley supporters in the stand I'm doing the commentary from. And when Burnley scored, there was 2 or 3 supporters jumped up and started cheering. There's fists being waved, there's heads, butts being going. It's going absolutely crazy. About 20 people are getting involved. The stewards are around it now. It's not what we want to see because it's been a fantastic game so far, but this has tarnished the game a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's all has had the potential to flare up with Burnley. We're going to win the title away at Blackburn, but that is definitely not what anybody wants to hear about, and I'm sure there'll be serious investigations and repercussions about that. We'll keep you updated with what's happening. Mickey is there at Ewood Park. Burnley look as if they're going to win the title away at their most fervent rivals. It's going to be a corner kick to Leeds United, 66 minutes on the clock here. It's 1-0 to Leeds against Leicester in the Premier League, and the corner coming in from the far side in towards the near post, headed away by Iheanacho, and it goes out deep and far towards the right side and further away from the Leicester City goal. Tossed back in by Firpo. Ayling doesn't get there. It comes to Cooper after Tielemans nods it clear. Now Somerville tries to jink inside. It's late from Tielemans, and Tielemans is going to get a yellow card. Full time in the game at Molineux, Adam Bridge.
Wolves 2, Crystal Palace 0. Anderson's own goal. Neves' penalty deep in stoppage time. Win it for Wolves. There's a party atmosphere here. Palace were good, but Wolves get the points on the night. Both teams look safe. It's Wolves 2, Crystal Palace 0.
Blackburn 0, Burnley 1. Burnley going to win the title away at Ewood Park if it stays like that. Ipswich Town heading for promotion, but not confirmed tonight. They'll have a sizable gap to Sheffield Wednesday. They're leading 2-0 away at Barnsley. Plymouth 2-0 up against Bristol Rovers. They look like they're coming back to the Championship as well. And Oxford scrapping for their lives, of 4-0 up at home to Cheltenham. And we've got a free kick here for Leeds United, wide on the left-hand side. It's about 4 or 5 yards from the edge of the 18-yard box. There's 4 to aim at in the penalty area for Jack Harrison, whose cross is delivered towards Rodrigo. It's behind him, comes back to Weston McKennie. He spanks it goalwards, and I think that might be in the River Aire.
Yeah, it was a wild swipe at the ball. Got absolutely... Well, I didn't get a great contact on it.
So Aston Villa, courtesy of the result at this moment in time, will be going above Tottenham into 5th position, nuzzling up behind Manchester United. Now, look, they've played 3 more games than Manchester United, so getting into the top 4 might be a bit of an arse, but they've got every chance of getting into the top 6 if it continues like this for Tottenham and the way that Liverpool are playing, although Brighton have 4 games in hand on them. That is worth pointing out. Off comes Rodrigo, on comes Aronson for Leeds United. What's that going to change?
Not quite sure. I mean, Rodrigo, he's been running around a lot. I mean, I know he's on a yellow card.
Is it to protect him because he's got a little bit narky?
Possibly, because Patrick Bamford, I think, has been anonymous in this game. He's hardly touched the ball. It's not really had an effect on the game. At least Rodrigo's had an effect on the game.
Nate Norient leading Mansfield by 2-1. Grimsby Town 2-0 up over Crewe. These in League 2. Harrogate 2-1 up away at Newport, and Stevenage, who are themselves vying for promotion, 1-0 up away at Swindon Town. This is their game in hand over Stockport County, also chasing for promotion from League 2 into League 1. Ball is out over on the far side, and it's a Leicester throw, tossed in by Christensen. Down the left flank it goes. 69 minutes on the clock. Leeds leading by a goal to 0. Round the corner it goes to Aronson, inside the area, skips it back, keeps control of the ball. The American is trying to dance away from Samara, who does well, takes it off him, and now has got to try and get it clear. Aronson sticking to his task, brings him down. Free kick given in the left full-back position for Leicester City.
Didn't need to make the foul. Had nowhere to go. Was in his own corner. Just stand him up. Let the defender make the decision. Give him a little nudge. He falls over, lays on the ball. Referee's got no option but to give the free kick. Here he comes.
Jamie Vardy is about to come on for Tete. Patson Daka coming on as well. Leicester know they need goals, so they're bringing on 2 forwards, Danny Mills, and that's going to change the dynamic a little bit. So Vardy coming on and Barnes coming off, and Daka coming on as well. So Tete and Barnes coming off, and that means they're going to be a little bit more narrow, you would have thought, because you've got 4 sort of centrally based players that are now on. I know Daka can play from a wide position, and I suppose Maddison will come out towards this near side. Iheanacho will play as the 10 and Vardy as the main striker.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Which is a slight strange one.
Well, he wants to get all the attacking players on the pitch.
Yeah, but I still would have thought you'd have put, we talked about it earlier, get somebody quick up against Firpo. Unless they're hoping that Maddison can twist him inside out.
20 minutes to go. Can Leicester get back into the game? They did manage to win on Saturday, but they've lost 12 of their last 17 before tonight, so you can understand how fragile they are. And each of Leicester's last 3 wins in the Premier League have seen them concede the opening goal, so they won't be too worried about going 1-0 down. It certainly won't frighten them as much as it might frighten someone like Leeds United. But they do not want to be relegated, Leicester. Not after all the highs they've had over recent years. And Dean Smith, who's been brought in as an emergency with Craig Shakespeare and John Terry to try and sort out this leaky defence that just cannot keep a clean sheet. They've equalled the club record after conceding tonight of a consecutive run without keeping a clean sheet. Aronson trying to prod the ball forward. The problem with that is that he's trying to prod it through to Bamford to run in behind, and Bamford's not the quickest. That's not his game. Here is Tielemans. Maddison. Tielemans again. 72 on the clock. Tielemans plays it down the right channel. Just a little bit too far ahead of Castagna. Easy for Meslier to pick up and clear away. Javi Grazia's got to hold his nerve here. He's got to hope his players do too. Getting over the line in this game will give them 32 points at this stage of the season. Oh dear. Meslier, just when they need someone to just take a little bit of time and distribute the ball, he's just spooned it straight out of play, only about 30 yards from his goal.
No major harm done, but what it does cause is a little bit of extra pressure. Next time he gets the ball, the Leicester fans will be on him.
The problem is that he's made so many of those sort of mistakes over the course of the last little while. Here is Iheanacho shooting from distance. He's parried the ball straight towards Daka, and he's made a brilliant double save. Well, if he was losing confidence because of conceding too many goals, he's just made a double save, which might just help Leeds United win the game. And everybody in white around this stadium has just stood up to give him a standing ovation, because that's one of the best saves of the season.
Oh, he's given offside. He's it wouldn't have counted, I don't think. Very, very tight, but Meslier had no idea about that. The first save, I have to say, I think he's lucky on the first one.
Well, because he pushes it straight out towards the oncoming Daka, is that what you're saying?
He's got to push that further outside the box, with a stronger hand.
But it was a good save initially. I mean, he got down to it. That was difficult to get down to.
But he palms it straight back into Daka, who fortunately is offside and then misses the chance anyhow.
Well, I think we know he's a talented goalkeeper. He's been linked with Bayern Munich. I think everybody knows he's got that in his locker to produce stunning saves like that. I thought it was a good double save from Ilian Meslier. But he wouldn't have counted anyway because it was offside. It's Talksport.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if Daka puts that away, you're going, hang on a minute, why did he not push it further outside the box?
Flick on by Vardy. Maddison chases. Meslier grabs it, pulls it into his chest. The crowd, though, were brilliant to him, giving him the confidence by standing up and giving him a standing ovation. Currently Leeds 1, Leicester 0. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get to win the game. Leeds 4-1 on. The draw is 18-5. Leicester 20-1. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes.com. Play at Ladbrokes.com, 18+, BigGambleAware.org. Yeah, the kicking hasn't been as good as maybe the work with his hands, and they've given the ball away again. There's so much nervousness and tension inside this stadium. Ball picked up by Maddison, trying to skip the ball past Rocker into Iheanacho, back to Maddison again. Iheanacho breaks into the box. He's taken a brilliant touch. He takes it towards the goalkeeper, who comes out, makes a good save again. Down at the feet of Iheanacho. He gives himself a fist pump and walks back into his goal. He's done a good job there. Here is Maddison inside the area. Oh, he's clipped by Aronson. That's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area.
Just before that, though, what another fantastic save. Meslier comes out, spreads himself, makes himself as big as possible. A really good save. And Aronson, again, needlessly trips Maddison on the edge of the box. Didn't need to do it, puts his side under more pressure.
Well, Leicester with a chance to create something from a set piece, knowing that Leeds have had vulnerabilities there, especially in the recent home game against Crystal Palace. Christensen's just got some instructions from the near side. The ball placed on the edge of the 18-yard box, down the side. It's about 3 yards down the side of the 18-yard box, wide on the right. There's 7 blue shirts in the proximity of the penalty area. Maddison flicks it in towards Fass, who was stretching for an overhead kick. And he was never going to do anything with that, and it goes right over the top of the crossbar off his outstretched right limb as he was falling backwards, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. So earlier on tonight, Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Crystal Palace by 2-0. It gives them a great chance of staying in the Premier League. They've racked up 37 points now, so they'll be confident. Looks like Burnley are going to win the title away at Blackburn Rovers. There's some disorder there. Mickey Gray is keeping an eye on it. In the division below that, Ipswich Town have gone 3-0 up now away at Barnsley. They look like they're heading back to the Championship. They'll need just 2 points to manage to see that over the line in their last 2 games. Accrington Stanley lead Bolton by 1-0. Burton 1-0 up against Lincoln. And Oxford, who are fighting, scrapping, trying desperately to stay in League One, are leading Cheltenham by 4-0. Plymouth, looking to also go up with Ipswich Town to the Championship, are leading by 2-0. They'll be in a great position after beating 10-man Bristol Rovers tonight. Grimsby 2-0 up in League Two over Crewe. Mansfield 2-1 down to Leyton Orient, who are already promoted from League Two. Harrogate 3-2 up against Newport, and Stephen is looking to go up a 1-0 up against Swindon. Javi Gracia not happy about throwing being awarded to Leicester over on the far side. Referee has allowed play on. The crowd playing their part in this game with 13 minutes to go. Leeds are in a good position. They're going to put distance between them and the relegation zone with a victory here. There'll be 4 points between them and third from bottom if it stays as it is right now. Forward by Rocker, foul by Tielemans, and it's going to be a free kick to Leeds United.
Just interesting that referee's having a word with McKennie at the moment, not quite sure what about. Again, Rocker, I think he's fortunate there. Tielemans trying to win the ball off him. Not sure there's too much contact. Rocker does well though, and that's what you need at this point. Get little fouls, break the game up, slow it down, do everything that you possibly can. Doesn't matter if you end up with 7, 8, 9 minutes injury time. It's about killing the momentum that Leicester are starting to get at the moment. 74% possession they've had in this second half.
Look, this is a club that is on tenterhooks. They know that there's a takeover in the offing, and that the price to sell this to the San Francisco 49ers will be dwindling every time that they go closer towards the Championship. The pressure is high on the players and the ownership to get over the line and stay safe in the Premier League for a 4th consecutive season. They're putting the pressure on Leicester inside their own penalty area here, and Harrison is fighting over on the far side. It goes out for a goal kick to Leicester away to our left. I don't know who's going to be the manager next season. Javi Gracia has signed a flexible contract, whatever that means. His last job was in the Qatar Stars League, where he led Al Sadd to the title by 15 points. He's had a good start to his tenure, then it went wobbly, and today certainly has been a bit wobbly, but if they get all 3 points, no one will be complaining.
No, I can't see it being a long-term appointment though, if I'm honest. There's going to be a huge amount of managerial changes in the summer.
There's a bit of a scrap going on the far side. Harrison wins it. He gets a massive cheer from the crowd, a roar from the crowd over on the far side, as Leeds look to fight their way towards this game's conclusion. And there were a lot of calls over the weekend for Victor Orta, the director of football, to go during Saturday's defeat, but they've got to be a little bit careful about how they manage the business. There's a lot of spotlight on what is a chaotic sort of structure above the manager here. I know that everyone was a little bit surprised, eyebrows certainly raised, when they gave Jesse Marsh a transfer window and then sacked him minutes afterwards. Here's Maddison, played in by Iheanacho at the other end, and joining is Vardy, and Vardy arrives and slips Leicester City on the counter-attack onto level terms. An equaliser from Jamie Vardy, who runs away to the near touchline. Maddison purses his lips, tells the Leeds fans to be quiet. Jamie Vardy has certainly silenced them. A brilliant goal on the counter-attack. Iheanacho has injured himself in the process of setting up that goal, but Jamie Vardy, who hasn't scored a Premier League goal in 15 Premier League starts, has come off the bench to score his 5th goal of the season.
I told you he was going to come on, didn't I? I told you he'd be a goal threat. You said he's only got 1 Premier League goal all season. What a finish. But hats off to Kelechi Iheanacho. Unbelievable. He's breaking through the middle. He's clearly picked up some sort of injury, whether it be cramp or he's gone completely. I saw people like that in the marathon on Sunday, like all of a sudden their legs just go and he couldn't run. But he kept some sort of composure. He's pulled his groin. But he manages to toe poke the through to Maddison, who has the composure to lay it to Vardy, and it's an exquisite finish. Bends it round Meslier into the far corner. I think that possibly his first touch, is it, Jamie Vardy?
Yeah, absolutely. He's hardly touched the ball since coming on.
But, I mean, talk about giving everything for the cause. Kelechi Iheanacho clearly pulled his groin, carried on for 4 or 5 places and played a fantastic little ball into Maddison.
Well, Ellen Road has been sent into stunned silence. Jamie Vardy has scored the goal, but set up by Iheanacho's coming off, and he's hobbling towards the near side. He's trying to wind up the Leicester fans away to the right-hand side, just get them behind the team again. The Leeds fans don't like his gesticulations as he hobbles towards the near touchline, but he knows he's played a major part in setting up the equaliser. Full-time at Villa Park, is it? Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0. That's finished. So another 3 vital points for Unai Emery. And more drop points for Fulham, whose tame end to the season continues. Now, is there a winner in the offing here? Imagine if it came for Leicester City. Imagine how this place would react. Aronson back towards McKennie. Again, it was that sort of breakaway that happened too quickly, and it was allowed to go straight through the midfield. That was a real problem for Leeds United there.
How many times have I said, though, Maddison's getting too much space on the ball. Somebody needs to get around him to stop him. I actually think that Maddison, having seen it back, I don't think he was playing that ball to Jamie Vardy.
Ball in towards the near post. Bamford, he's offside.
I think he was trying to knock it round the defender for himself, and it fell to Jamie Vardy, and it was a brilliant finish. Magnificent. But when anyone gets to watch this back, when you talk about players giving absolutely everything for the cause, Iheanacho, unbelievable.
Yeah, he might not see him again between now and the end of the season.
No, his groin goes, he feels his groin, he knows there's an opportunity to keep going, and he does, and his legs just give way.
And that's the fight, the graft that, those who've been watching Leicester City have said have been missing over the course of the last few weeks and months, and then it's been injected again over the course of the last week or so. Here's Maddison. He's just been crunched, but he's played it through to Daka. Daka inside the area. Vardy is there. They broke away to score. Offside flag has gone up against him. But there was a really late challenge on Maddison in the build-up to that. He released the ball down the left-hand side to Daka. Daka squared it. Again, it was casual from Cooper kicking out from the back. He made the mistake which invited the attack, and then he went crunching into a challenge on Maddison. Now, was Daka offside? No,
Vardy's offside.
But was Vardy offside when the ball was played to him? Yes, and that goal will not count. But that is a massive warning for
I don't know who the foul was on Maddison, but that should be a yellow card as well.
It was Cooper.
That would be off.
Booked.
Yeah, that's poor refereeing.
Well, it looked like a foul from here.
It was.
If that was the case, it should have got. I think he should have come back and looked at that.
I think the referee's lost his head in that moment, and he's more concerned about the offside decision. Has forgot about that decision. But Cooper's lucky
because he must have seen that and thought, play on, because they're breaking away to score. Played the advantage, maybe.
No, he did, but that doesn't mean you can't come back and
still
book a
go
player.
back and book him. Yeah, exactly.
But Leicester have got their tails up now.
So lucky not to be 2-1 down, and so lucky to have 10 men on the pitch here, Leeds United.
They've scored 3 this evening, Leicester.
Yeah. But that could be a bone of contention, and maybe Jamie and Jason will discuss it on the sports bar. 037172233.
He's in again.
4. And here is Vardy in behind on the right-hand side this time. That's a challenge by Firpo, which sends the ball out. Caught Vardy on the way through. Did get the whole of the ball before taking Vardy with him.
But that's no different from the Luke Ayling one, is it?
Very similar.
Yeah, his player slides in, wins the ball, and unfortunately the follow-through catches the player minimally.
Dennis Pratt has come off the bench for Iheanacho.
There's a huge nervousness now around Ellen Road. Crowd is almost on mute. Leicester fans are singing away, but the Leeds crowd very, very nervous now.
5 minutes to go before the end.
There's Leicester in the ascendancy, aren't they?
Just a bit. And they've been in the ascendancy at certain portions of this game, but just haven't been able to get themselves a proper goal threat. They've certainly got one now with Jamie Vardy, who hasn't looked like a goal threat for most of the season, but maybe over the course of his 15 Premier League appearances that he started this campaign, he hasn't been a goal threat. But in the 15 minutes that he's been on the pitch here, he has.
Told you. He loves this sort of atmosphere, doesn't he? He's up against it. Crowd hate him. They're giving it to him both barrels.
He's had the jelly babies tonight, that's for sure.
But that's what he feeds off, isn't it?
Yep. And this atmosphere is intense, it's fervent, and you can feel it turning. If Leicester City were to get another goal, there'd be a real problem for Leeds. Maybe they might get a winner. It's all to play for with 5 minutes to go here on Talksport. It's 1-1 between Leeds and Leicester. And the goal scorers Vardy and Sinisterra. Sinisterra in the first half. Vardy with 10 minutes to go may get Leicester City a point in this game. How does that affect the table? Well, it means that Leicester would have 29 points, Leeds 30. Bournemouth have played a game less and have 33 just above them. Below them, Everton 28 can go above both of them if they win their game this midweek, although that game is a pretty difficult one. Here is Maddison looking to get away from Rocker. The ball breaks in midfield and Ayling brings it clear. Plays it through the legs of Daka and it goes out towards the far side. Aronson trying to hold on to it. There's limbs everywhere. Everybody wiring into tackles. It's completely uncontrolled chaos here at Ellen Road tonight. As Ayling comes forward to McKennie, swipes it down the right touchline. There's nobody there to get on the end of it. It's played against Aronson. It comes back to Christensen, and Soyuncu manages to clear up towards the halfway line.
And the next two games, Leeds-Bournemouth, I think, isn't it?
Leeds-Bournemouth on Saturday.
And then Monday is obviously Talksport game, Everton versus Leicester.
Yeah.
Or Leicester versus Everton.
Yeah, well, tomorrow night we've got Nottingham Forest, Brighton to bring you, Chelsea, Brentford, West Ham, Liverpool, and of course Manchester City against Arsenal. All those games on the Talksport network on Thursday night. Everton against Newcastle, Southampton against Bournemouth, and Tottenham against Manchester United, live and exclusive to national radio. Here is Castagna wiring into another challenge. Christensen with a header away over on the far side. Daka trying to keep it alive. You're listening to Leeds against Leicester on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Leeds coming forward on the far side. Is there a late winner at Ellen Road? The ball is on the right. Crossed by Harrison. Headed away by Castagna on the edge of the 6-yard box. But given away to Ayling, who shoots. Takes a deflection over the top of the crossbar out for a corner. Well, Soyuncu got just enough on that to steer that behind and away for a corner. There was a poor clearance from Leicester City, who invited pressure, and Ayling pummeled a shot goalwards, which took a deflection. It's a corner.
Oh, everything's just now a little bit last gasp, and plenty of desperation creeping in. It's like watching the Premier League back in the 90s, this.
The good old days. Is that what you're saying?
Well, plenty of tackles flying in. Yeah. Lacking a little bit of quality from time to time.
It's been great fun, let's just put it that way.
Plenty of endeavour.
Yeah, and certainly a lot to keep you on the edge of your seat. As the ball goes in towards the near post, Rocker is out there, saved by the goalkeeper on the line, and then cleared by Christensen. Brilliant. Back in it goes. Aim towards Koch. Fast manages to get it clear. Ayling keeps it moving. Back into Rocker again. Down the side for Aronson. Saved by the goalkeeper and steered round the post. And now Leicester's goal is leading a charmed life.
Two magnificent saves from the goalkeeper. Might even be three. He makes the initial one from the header. And I think, does Christensen smash it against him? No, he goes to kick it and the keeper almost stops him by putting his arm in the way, and I think he boots the goalkeeper's hand in the initial clearance.
Corner on the far side, Harrison to take it. Lots of white shirts buzzing around the penalty area. Bamford jostling for movement. Comes to Bamford at the back post, and he's missed it from 3 yards out. It's dropped for Patrick Bamford in front of an open goal, in front of the Don Revie stand. And Patrick Bamford, usually so reliable in front of goal, has swiped and missed when it looked easier to score. How costly could that be for Leeds United?
That's an incredible miss. That is unbelievable. He's got to hit the target. If the goalkeeper scrambles across and makes an unbelievable save, fair enough. But to miss from there, there'll be Leeds United fans now saying, we've seen that before. I remember watching several chances like that in the Championship. I know he had that incredible season, 17 goals in the Premier League. But before that, when he was playing Championship, some of the finishing at times was not the greatest, and that was one of those.
Well, he missed out the Liverpool game with a calf injury. He did score against Palace, but he didn't score in the whole of 20...
I can't believe this fan's leaving, by the way, 5 minutes to go.
He didn't score in the whole of 2022, Patrick Bamford, and he wanted the ground to swallow him up there. There's 5 minutes of added time at the end of the 90, live on Talksport. And Maddison trying to cause Rocker some problems. He's holding on to the ball, and they have caused Rocker some problems. They've won it back, but Firpo might get it clear, and Tielemans trying to keep it alive, and Rocker's just losing his head. He's skewed the ball out towards this near side. A miscue from him, and now the pressure is on at the other end. It's end-to-end stuff. The pendulum has swung back in favour of Leicester City. You've just seen the ball cleared off the line, and Bamford miss an open goal from 4 yards out.
It's
now they're coming on the attack.
Sheer panic right now.
Panic, desperation. People desperate to get a goal, and Vardy might get one. He's in behind here. He's gone down under pressure, but again the offside flag is up. He's just gone a little bit early. Got away with another one though.
Not sure about that. Just going to get to see it on the replay. Vardy looking to get in. Yeah, just.
He is. He's a good yard offside, and actually that's pretty sloppy really. But there is anxiety inside this stadium.
There's one big chance left in this game, isn't there?
Disquiet, and we are into the second of 5 added minutes at the end of the 90. And Tielemans trying to get away from Aronson. Looks to feed the ball down the right side for Castagna. Aronson dives in for a tackle.
Should have been a foul.
The ball breaks to the right-hand side. Fast picks it up before Bamford could get there. He runs into traffic and then gives the ball away to Rocker. And then Bamford's in an offside position. And
lazy.
The flag will go up. He tried to steal a few yards, and that was a mistake from Bamford. The referee trying to get the game going again. Dean Smith wants things moving. He thinks there might be a chance for Leicester here. And what was Fast doing, wandering into those white shirts? You could see it was perilous.
But then Bamford, you've got to get back on side.
You make bad decisions, don't you, though, when you're panicking and you're losing your head, you're not thinking clearly, and neither of these two teams look particularly to have a clarity of thought at the end of the game. There's real nervous tension in and around the stadium. Live on Talksport. Agitation, a little bit of the terrors creeping into the supporters who are biting their fingernails, some of them on tenterhooks, standing and peering over the dugouts down in front of us. 1 or 2 choosing to leave, but only 1 or 2, because there's too much that could happen in the next few minutes of this game that could be so vital, could be pivotal to the outcome of the season. Both these two teams scrapping to stay in the league. A point won't be enough for either of them. Leeds would have thrown away yet another point from a winning position. Leicester have scrapped back to get more points once again. Bamford coming forward now. Rocker trying to go into the penalty area. It's broken for Bamford inside the box. He's taken on 3 blue shirts and run into a 4th, and now they've turned the ball over, and Maddison's trying to escape. He's turned out and away from Aronson. He needs a bit of support. Aronson's brought him down. Free kick Leicester just in short of the halfway line. Maddison was playing for that because he had no options.
Oh, but even still, that's still a booking. It's just forearm smashed him. Watch this on the replay. Look, as he turns back inside, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Should we just call it a little bit naughty? We're going for 90s football tonight anyway, aren't we?
I know, but I just don't understand. The referee gives the foul. What has he seen? How does he not see that as a booking?
Well, I mean, Leeds are very, very fortunate not to have Liam Cooper sent off for that challenge on Maddison.
But Leeds look, they're still above Leicester in the table at the moment.
Yeah.
So see the game out. Talked about it beforehand. Do not get beat.
Daka,
don't need to charge forward all the time.
We're in injury time with a minute to go. It's Jamie Vardy inside the area trying to turn away from Coll. Sets it up for Daka inside the area. It breaks towards Pratt. He strikes it. Tielemans on the edge of the box. Gets the strike away. Comes back to Pratt inside the area. Very chaotic inside the box. Hacked away by Leeds United's defence. Picked up on the left side by Samare. We've nearly played the 5 minutes of added time. It's 1-1. Ball in towards the edge of the box. It comes off the defender, Harrison, and goes out for a corner to Leicester.
It's sheer panic stations now, isn't it? There's no other way to describe it.
Oh, the nerves are palpable here at Ellen Road.
There is zero composure in that box at the moment from Leeds.
United want to get at least a point from this game. Leicester think they can steal all 3, maybe with the final kick of the match. It's sent in deep towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away and out towards the far side. Samare's got it. Referee checks his watch. We've nearly played the 5 minutes. We're in the 94th minute and 55 seconds are on the clock, and still the referee doesn't blow his whistle. As Ayling goes over to the far side, kicks the ball out of play, Madison tugs him back. He's going to give away a free kick, and the referee might just call that a day. He does. And there's a few little boos that are emanating from Elland Road. Still disquiet and frustration and discontent. Unrest again amongst the home support, because despite taking the lead in the first half, once again they haven't been able to hang on to that lead. It's something that's become a bit of a habit for Leeds United over the course of the season, and there will be one or two thinking what might have been had Patrick Bamford steered in from 4 yards out with the goal wide and gaping. He didn't, and as a result of that, Leeds and Leicester share the spoils and do nothing to ease their relegation fears. The big winners on the night, probably Everton, and the other two teams below them, Forest and Southampton. It's finished here, live on Talksport at Elland Road. Leeds United 1, Leicester 1.
Yeah, spot on. Bottom three, Southampton on 24, Forest on 27, Everton on 28. They've all played 32 games, their midweek games to come. And then above the dotted line, Leicester, having played 33 now, a game more than the bottom three, they're on 29. Leeds United are on 30. They've also played 33 games. So with time running out, that Bamford blunder towards the end, you wonder if that's going to cost Leeds United. But it is a positive night, I think, Danny Mills, for Leeds. Yet it wasn't a vintage performance. It's not going to go down as one of the all-time great Leeds performances, but at least they haven't lost. They've lost the last three before, and they've been battered in some of them, especially here.
That's what I said at the top of the show, didn't I? Whatever happens, and I said that today when I was at Elland Road, earlier on this morning, do not get beat in this game. You cannot get beat. If you lose this game, you are in it, and I fear for them going down. They've given themselves a chance right now. They never look comfortable at 1-0. They were always up against it. They were always going to give away chances.
But at 1-0, should they have done something different tactically, or the players taken it upon themselves to see the game out or even add to their lead?
Definitely. Put Adam Forshaw on at half-time for one to calm the game down. It was far too frantic. It was all over the place. It was just ridiculous at times. Bamford has a fantastic chance right at the death. He's got to hit the target.
Well, that's why it doesn't feel like a good point for Leeds United, because they led and they let the lead slip again, and they've missed a golden chance. But for Leicester, it's an away point, so on the face of it, that looks like a decent point. But actually, they were probably, over the 90 minutes, possibly the better side, weren't they?
Oh, definitely. I think, and in terms of chance as well, Leeds were fortunate not to fall behind. Fortunate with the offside when Tielemans bangs one into the top corner. Jamie Vardy puts the ball in the net twice. They had other chances as well. Within that, they dominated the second half, dominated possession. Against the run of play, Bamford got that chance at the far post. He's got to hit the target. Can't miss the target from there.
So, it's not a good night for either of them, is it, really?
No, as Sam said, it's great for Forest and Everton. Because that keeps those two right in it. And I think, obviously, Leeds' next game is against Bournemouth. Everton obviously go to Newcastle, or host Newcastle, and then they play Leicester. So over the course of the next two games or two match days, by the time they're ended, the bottom of the table could look a little bit different.
It could. I think both sides had to win tonight, but they didn't. Finish 1-1 Leeds versus Leicester. I can tell you Burnley are champions, will be at Ewood Park very shortly, but it's time now for us to pick our man of the match with Car Finance 24/7.
Man of the match on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Sort your finance first, so you can choose a car with confidence. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender.
Well, Danny Mills, we're having a little bit of a laugh because I thought I knew who you were going to pick as man of the match. At half-time you were talking about, Vardy's got to come on, he's going to score, he's going to tear him to bits. He comes on and scores his second Premier League goal of the season, but he hasn't quite edged it, has he?
No, if he hadn't have been offside for the second one, I would have given it him. I was thinking about giving it to Mark Rocker just to try and see your face.
And by the way, I must put something right. I mean, when I said he won a competition and Sam Matterface said, yeah, the Bundesliga, honestly, let me give, I'm very, very brief, I've got to do this. He started 4 games last season for Bayern Munich, came on as sub in 5. That was his first season. A second season, started 2, subbed on in 4. He's never completed 90 minutes for Bayern Munich. He's never won the Bundesliga, for heaven's sake, just to put that right. But he's not your man of the match, Mark Rocker.
No, he's not. I'm going to give it to James Maddison. I thought he was a constant threat to Leeds. He got a lot of stick from the crowd. He was always trying to get on the ball. He was always trying to make things happen. And ultimately, it was him that provided that goal. Iheanacho, I have to say, though, hats off to him, because without his determination, desire to keep going when he clearly ripped a groin and keep going, Leicester would not be back in this game. But James Maddison just shades it.
James Maddison then just shades it. And fair play giving Iheanacho a shout, because that was some secondary assist from him. James Maddison, though, our man of the match from today's game with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.